Welcome back, everybody, to the Block Runner Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto. I am your host, William, with your co-host, I-Man. And as always, here are the topics we'll be discussing today. First things up, the recent flash crash of Bitcoin and its bounce back. Then we get into Bitcoin makes an appearance on 60 Minutes. The next topic is major cryptocurrencies are now accepted at thousands of retailers. The dangers of using risky exchanges. And finally, we talk about some major technological subjects in the crypto space that we'll cover in later episodes. All right, let's jump right in.
Blast off.
There we go.
Is that proper usage after all that
Testing
science shit we just watched?
Yeah. So Bitcoin went down to 7,000, and then it rebounded to over 8,000 right now.
What's it looking at right now? Dude, can we put it on the screen?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude. Let's get like a live broadcast. The Bitcoin spot price.
Here we go.
It's always fun to look at. Dude, what have I been saying, man? Like,
dude, what have I been saying?
No, my golden saying is like these fucking markets always find a way to like screw over the most amount of people.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Who's been screwed though?
Like all the people forecasting and analyzing like this. You even showed me like, oh, you're like, we're entering accumulation 2.0 phase,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Well, I think we are.
Nah, dude. Accumulation would be like if we had a nice, sexy retracement down to like five to 6,000 range.
Yeah.
And like settled there, maybe traded sideways for a few weeks, and then rebounded, and then broke all previous highs.
Well,
we
did have a section of accumulation though, from January to like March.
But hold on, there's like some charts I want to pull up. Let me see if I can find them.
Is it from TradingView?
Yeah, I mean, you can literally just look it up yourself. Go back to like 2015 on TradingView. I want to show you something. I don't know if you've seen this yet. History tends to repeat itself. Not necessarily, but it's always nice to go back and, look at previous cycles.
Yeah.
See what happens. All right, so we're at 8,223 USDs per BTC. Yeah, dude.
What's that price right there?
I can't see that. My eyes are not good.
Okay, so right now, it is May 19th, and the Bitcoin price is 8,215.
Basically, right now, as we speak, it's retesting its previous highs from a week ago. Not even a week ago. What is it, like
it was
4
like
or 5 days ago?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
It's retesting, so more than likely, it's going to break through, I think.
I don't know. I think it's going to go back down.
You think it's going to be like a double top, super fucking obvious thing? Like everybody in the world's going to see it?
Yeah.
I don't think so, man. I think it's on its way up. Dang. Maybe to test 10,000 is my guess, 10 or 11,000.
So was it a good time to buy at 7,000, like 7,200 when it went back down? Like,
well, I'll be honest, dude. I told you I tethered out, right?
Yeah.
I tethered out because I've been anticipating I thought for sure it was going to break below 7,200.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to go to the 5,000 to 6,000 range. And I was going to freaking load up my bags heavy. I was waiting for that. See, that's what I'm saying. I think everybody was waiting for that because now everybody's in like the bullish
mode.
Yeah, everyone's got like bullish greed in their minds, right? Everyone's like, like everyone thinks the market's on an upswing.
Look at that accumulation zone.
Yeah.
We're looking for December, a little bit before December, all the way through April.
Dude, but we haven't seen Bitcoin behave like this since literally.
No, I agree.
2017, like from that 5K to 20K run.
Yeah.
It's like repeating that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're only halfway there pretty much.
And there's literally like no mania.
Yeah.
There's no media. There's a little bit of media attention. Like tonight, there's a 60 Minutes episode. Dude, what's going to happen after that?
Oh, yeah.
I want to watch. Dude, we need to watch that preview because I think CNN's doing like a hit piece on Bitcoin. Like it sounds like they're like.
Really?
Yeah. Can we pull it up by any chance and like play it?
Yeah. Do you know where it's at though?
YouTube, of course. Well, will it pick up on the podcast?
Yes, it will.
Let's do that. Oh yeah, first time for everything. We're gonna play something.
I think it will. We'll find out.
Google 60 Minutes Bitcoin, and there's like a 3-minute little preview right there.
Here we go. Let's see if we can hear it. Oh no, it's not being fed into the.
Damn. Okay, well, this is Anderson Cooper. He's like the typical CNN shill.
The story, as I understand, is sort of an odyssey. Was it a difficult topic to grasp?
Almost everyone knows the word. And it's amazing it's kind of a common part of our lexicon now, but most of us don't really know what it is. Okay,
Anderson's trying to figure out what it is in your interviews. It's sort of
one of the joys was kind of watching Anderson trying to wrap his mind around this thing.
There's no actual coin.
That is true. That is something that trips
I
people
know
up.
this is a dumb question, but I can't get past that.
It took me a little while, too.
I'm so antiquated, I can't imagine things that do not have a physical component.
It's really abstract for a lot of
Don't
people.
patronize me.
You spoke with Neha Narula. Did she help clear some things up for you?
I mean, I think Neha is very good at bringing things back to earth.
Can you buy portions of a Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah. You can buy a very small amount of a Bitcoin.
So who made Bitcoin?
When you ask about the creator, who created this, who invented this, they must be a real genius. Everyone's like, we have no idea.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
Satoshi Nakamoto is a fake name for somebody.
It's the name that appears on the paper.
Were you able to learn anything more about who Satoshi Nakamoto is?
No.
Did you try?
A little. But really, I mean, it's just mission impossible.
He's a myth. I mean, he doesn't, no one knows who he is. Some people have claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but we have not seen any definitive proof.
People communicated by email with Satoshi. Laszlo Hunyat's one of the people in our story.
Oh, there's the pizza guy.
Communicated by email with Satoshi.
Yes, I did. I corresponded with the inventor.
Do you know who he or
It's like fucking
it is?
Rob Kardashian.
I do not.
What did you talk about?
Just talk shop, really. Hey, I can't get this code to work.
So there was a period when people were talking to Satoshi, they were working out the technical problems, they were revising the code.
Has Satoshi been communicating with anyone lately?
No, there was a point where Satoshi just stopped, just faded away.
I understand Satoshi is sitting on a small fortune that has not been redeemed.
Right. Beyond the mystery of who it is, this person actually is, Satoshi Nakamoto, is the question of why not touch any of this money?
Well, I mean, people are keeping track of his Bitcoins, because they know that he mined all the early blocks and he hasn't spent them.
Really?
Yeah, they're still there. None of them have been touched. So, some people think he's dead. Some people think he's just laying low. But because it's not owned or controlled by anyone, it truly belongs to the internet. It belongs to everyone. And it's almost like Satoshi came and gave us Bitcoin as a present and just kind of left.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. That didn't look so bad as it did the first time I fucking watched it. I don't know. For some reason, I got an impression like they put on like the dumbest people they could find to represent Bitcoin on his behalf. Like, if you were 60 Minutes, wouldn't you put Andreas on there and like interview him? Somebody's actually like a god tier, like knowledgeable person about it.
Yeah, but
that's not 60 Minutes style. They want to get like
It looked like they wanted to shit on Bitcoin just because they didn't have a creator. They didn't have one person that they can go to, and
there's that.
But I don't think that's all that negative, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, in your opinion, but remember the audience they're broadcasting to is like day-to-day folk. 60 Minutes is primetime television,
Yeah, for sure. I just think that that's part of the attraction to Bitcoin is that there's this Satoshi Nakamoto guy that nobody knows.
Yeah.
And
but
it worked. That's the crazy thing is that it worked.
It's interesting timing why they're doing this report. Yeah, like I said, there's no media mania happening right now.
Right.
I'm sure they had this in the books like a few months ago. They probably recorded all this like during the peak of the bear market. Like,
yeah,
it's interesting timing in my opinion.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, like when nobody gives a Bitcoin, right? Like, all of a sudden,
that's when they decided to do something on Bitcoin.
Yeah. Maybe it's like you know what? It's like we need to do this so we can say we did it, but like we really don't want anyone to catch on.
Yeah.
Type shit. I don't fuck it. I'm just like throwing out tinfoil conspiracies here.
I wonder the timing of this. Did they record this a long time ago or recently?
I mean, based on my armchair understanding of television programming, there's got to be months in advance, right? They have to spend time editing and all that crap. So
that's crazy though that it's about to come out right in the middle of a bull run.
Well, right in the beginning of the next one.
Yeah,
like they didn't know that was coming.
Or maybe they're smarter than we think.
Well, we got to watch the whole thing. I think it's going on like right now as we speak, but
okay,
we don't have Was it CBS?
We don't have it hooked up.
ABC?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't have basic cable. All that. Who
pays for that?
That is dinosaur technology
ancient.
Boys and girls. Getting back to the topic at hand, what the hell are we talking about?
So we're talking about
Bitcoin.
the price,
It's doing its thing, man. I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's because of the halvening, and this was predicted.
Yeah. You're calling this trend like leading up to the 2020 happening.
Yep.
For sure. I'm talking more like on a micro scale. Like that's your macro.
Yeah. But it's also micro in a way because I'm not surprised. Now, I am surprised that it's at 8,000 right now. I didn't think it was going to be that high. I thought it was going to be like 6,000.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. When you think we're talking micro, we're talking like days and weeks here. So, like what catapulted the price from 6,000
but we had
to 8,000? Remember Consensus?
Yeah,
like
Consensus.
Monday morning was when Consensus started. That was literally as soon as like everybody started speaking at that event.
Yeah, and what was the price doing? I think it was just fluctuating between 8,000 and 7,000.
What was it doing?
So I don't think it changed that much.
No, I never got to. It broke out.
It went to 8,300.
That's when it broke out,
and then it traced down to.
There were a few things happening.
6,900.
Consensus, which has a history of, catapulting Bitcoin's price, except for last year. Last year was like the only year it didn't do that.
Yeah.
Which is expected during a bear market, I guess. And this is probably like a 3 or 4 year old event. And what Consensus is basically like a big circle jerk for cryptocurrency.
It's a conference. It's a conference where a bunch of companies in the crypto industry get together and they show their own technology.
I shouldn't call it a circle jerk.
Well,
how dare
definitely
me?
Not.
No, it's a legitimate thing. Think of it as like Comic-Con for cryptocurrencies in a way.
And it's to me, in my opinion, it's no different than any other conference. I mean, you go and
every
talk about your product, and you get people to hopefully buy it, and that's it.
Yeah, big news events comes out, and then you get like a good, they call it consensus. It's a pretty good name for it. You get a good consensus of where the industry's headed, basically. And I think from what I read, they're pretty focused on decentralized finance. They're like coming out with tons of finance products, like lending platforms.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
For sure.
There's a ton of like
lending platforms. Okay, so that has a bad connotation these days, a lending platform.
Yeah.
BitConnect.
I thought exactly of that when I was looking at all these things.
Like, I don't understand how a company can come together, a group of people work together in one direction to do a lending platform when we've had so many lending platforms become Ponzi schemes and other scams.
I don't know.
And I don't know how you do a lending platform legitimately with cryptocurrency.
How would you think they would even lay it out?
I have no idea. Like, I need 1,000 Bitcoin for a particular project, and somebody's supposed to lend me 1,000 Bitcoin, and
you get like a percentage of,
and then I'm supposed to return 1,000 Bitcoin plus interest. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah. Again, but that from what I read, that's the big focus of this year's consensus.
But then again, you think about security tokens.
Mm-hmm.
The security tokens essentially is I want a share of that company.
Yeah.
And in exchange for that share, I'll give you fiat currency. And if the company ends up making revenue, I'll get a dividend. So that's sort of like a lending.
It's like a stock.
Well, it's like a stock. Yeah,
like
that's what a security is. It's a share of a company.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking that has some correlation, some relation to a lending platform to a certain degree. I mean,
you're just afraid that these new platforms are coming out. I heard there's literally a BitConnect 2.0 on its way.
Well, remember they had one called BitConnect X?
Yeah.
And that never happened.
But still, there's like a whole new wave of people coming in. They're going to try and, manipulate and take advantage of the next bull cycle. Yeah, just keep an eye out on lending. Anyone who promises to give you 100% or 50% for your Bitcoin, you should look at it with a really sharp eye. Oh, yeah. Because nobody can promise you any return on any investment. Yeah. Nobody can guarantee it. And especially if they offer you like bonus incentives for like recruiting. Going in early or recruiting, and then not only that, putting in more money for a bigger percentage than putting in less money for a less percentage. Yeah. And any of those are like clearly like red flags. They're the biggest red flags that you can find. Yeah, it's universal.
Other than finding a cryptocurrency company with their team being a bunch of stock photos. I mean, that's a bigger red flag.
Mm-hmm. And it's happened. It's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening.
Especially in the next bull run, we're gonna see all kinds of scams.
Yeah,
like just because so many people who are in the crypto space have so much money now that the scams come out and it's easier to get people to put in more money.
And you said something interesting a few weeks back. Like remember we were discussing what's gonna catalyze this next. Well, it seems like we don't even need a catalyst at this point. It seems like it's taking off on its own. Everyone's scratching their heads right now trying to figure out what's causing this.
Yeah, I agree.
The beginning of this next bullish trend. You could put your finger on that happening for sure. Like you said, we have tons of evidence. That's, I guess you'd call that the catalyst.
I think that might be the only thing that's causing it to rise up.
That's the only thing that's like pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But like I said, during like last week's like bullish spike where it went from 6K to 8K. Again, there's consensus going on in stocks. Stocks took a plunge that day too.
For sure.
Because there was like another scare with China tariffs with the United States.
Yeah.
So that was a good sign. That was a bullish sign for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, that people were exiting equities markets. And,
that's right.
And
especially the Chinese. The Chinese were the ones moving their money into crypto.
They were afraid. Yeah, a lot of the volume was coming from the Chinese exchanges. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. I don't know if that's enough of a sign to cause a 2,000 jump, though.
No, but it's just, like I said, little things they catalyze, the catalysts.
Yeah, it contributes.
Like I said, you said something interesting a few weeks back that you thought maybe possibly IEOs would do it. And then I noticed something recently that Binance is, I guess they just came out with 3 of them. There's one there's one called Matic.
Yeah.
It's another one called, I don't know, it's like celery, I guess. it's the sticker or the ticker is CELR.
Yeah.
The last few days, Bitcoin's been on a retracement pattern, so it's been decreasing in value, and all the other altcoins in the market were doing the same. But for some reason, these recent Binance IEOs, which is basically it's an ICO offered exclusively by Binance, right?
Yeah. So in this case, it would be a Binance associated coin that you can only get through Binance.
How do you participate? Like, I never even see. Is there like a tab on Binance or something? Or?
I'm not sure. I would imagine it would be the equivalent of buying another cryptocurrency through Binance. I mean, that's the only way. You find the token on Binance, and then you just purchase via BTC.
I watched an interview. The dude's involved with Matic, and what Matic is essentially it's a layer 2 solution, scaling solution for Ethereum. That's what they are. They
So is he proposing this to Vitalik, or is it just some off-chain? It's its own thing.
It's so weird because they have something called Raiden Network.
Yeah.
I invested in Raiden Network around the 2017 bull cycle because they were in direct connection with Ethereum, building the layer 2 payment channels, all that, right?
Interesting.
And but that didn't really go anywhere as far as price. I'm pretty sure they're still developing.
Yeah.
But there's tons of layer 2 solutions. Like we said, we're talking about Bitcoin Lightning Network, same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Layer 2 scaling solution. So, but put all that aside, my concern is why is Binance's initial exchange offerings going up in price when the rest of the market is depressed?
Oh, I see. So you're thinking there's a collaboration between the Binance CEO and these particular coins?
It could be, because
collaboration is stretching the word that I'm actually supposed to be using.
Yeah, or if anything, you want, because think of it, if you're Binance and all of a sudden there's this new thing out, this new ecosystem, new way of launching your products in the crypto spaces through exchanges. You want these projects to see like, hey, if you launch on Binance, like you're going to see some growth quick, right? It doesn't matter what's going on in the rest of the market. Existing projects like Ripple, Ethereum, EOS, everything is going down. Yeah. But these unknown projects are just, I think Matic did like a 60-70% run, like in 1 or 2 days. Yeah. It had a good run.
So you can find that right now in Binance.
It's probably still running right now. You just pull up Binance and you look at to see what the all-time market leaders are. You could probably pull it up. But I mean, I'm not
So are you interested in these coins, or are you simply pointing out that there's something going on with the association of Binance and these particular IEOs?
Well, I don't know if, okay, again, like you said, you made the call that you think IEOs are going to be this great thing.
Yes.
You think it's like the next coming of Jesus in the crypto world, basically. Like I said, because ICOs caused 2017 mania. That's my thing. That's what I think. And then back when I said that, you said IEOs could do the same thing for the next bull run.
I think it's one of those accelerators for the bull run.
Look, dude, it's up 47% right now. Matic Network.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
It's going ham, dude.
Oh, no. So the price is 2 cents.
Oh, it's very cheap.
Okay.
Well, it's not cheap.
Oh, it's not cheap right now because it went up 47%.
But like in the last few, like click on it. Look at his chart.
Okay.
Matic. I want to see this. Okay. So
in the last day.
Look at that, dude.
Wow.
That's like straight parabolic. What is going on?
Yeah.
And like its parabolic run started when Bitcoin was retracing.
Yeah.
Correcting itself. So I don't know. You make that.
That's interesting.
You do with that whatever you want. But this is just another example of Binance's power, right?
Yeah.
And it's not alone. Like I said, there's a couple other ones that were launched at the same time.
Yeah. So how old is this? This is a couple of days old, right?
No.
Yeah. It's about a day old.
No, it's more than a day.
Oh, no. Yeah, right. It's
I'd say
2 weeks.
2 weeks old.
2 weeks.
But over the last week, it's been on a ridiculous bull tear. Like, it's just been going ham. And right now, it's almost just about to crack 50% on the day.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, either you're right, IEOs is the next big thing, and IEO mania is for real. Because, like I said, Matic, to me, it sounds exactly like Radiant Network. It's a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum.
Yep.
It doesn't, from my mind, anything different. But it's got some partnerships that Radiant Network doesn't have. So
right.
apparently that's what's causing the hype.
Okay, so what I want to show you here is the halving event from the last cycle. And let me zoom in. Okay, so last halving event was in the summer of 2016.
Yes.
Okay, so this is December, right? And then this is June. So we just went through a December, and now we're approaching June. What does this look like to you? This looks almost identical to what is happening right now.
No, I think you're too far ahead.
No.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, yeah.
You were.
Yeah, I'm about a year ahead.
You're a year ahead. So
okay,
let's go back some more.
Let's go back some more.
Yeah. No, right there. You see, that's the accumulation right there. You can see it's clear as day.
Yeah.
From that drop off.
Yep.
To that parabolic run up, which is what's happening right now. That parabolic run up.
Yeah, this is the parabolic run up that you're talking about.
That we're experiencing right now.
Yeah, this is it. And so if we go forward, there's going to be another accumulation period.
Exactly. Like that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be in accumulation 2.0 phase.
Yeah, but we're right here right now. Eventually it'll come back down.
No, we're back there. You see we're still on our way up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the top's going to be. Go back even more. What's the top of those accumulation? Okay, so it dropped from what's that price? $400 about.
Damn,
back in the start of 2015, Bitcoin
$400.
Yeah, Bitcoin dropped from $400 all the way down to about $100.
100.
So that's a
75%.
Yeah, but it immediately bounced back, and it was trading sideways for that's a long time.
About 6 months.
6 months of sideways trading.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, the parabolic run-ups rant started, probably in anticipation for that 2016 happening, right?
Yeah. So it halves in the summer
of 2016.
So this is April 2016. It halves and then it just spikes up. And then we have this huge run up to $20,000.
Well, yeah.
All the way to December.
Yeah, but I argue, that was carried by ICOs.
So I don't know, dude.
Yes, dude. What do you mean?
This is the third time we've seen this. We're gonna see it a fourth time, and it's gonna look exactly like this. Why does it do that? I don't know.
It's hype, bro. Like you need some kind of
but why would everyone sell at the end of December, January of the following year? Like why does everyone sell at that time?
It was just overextended, man. It was the biggest bubble like of all time almost.
Well, yeah. If you're not selling at 20,000, then what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone was waiting for that first whale to cash out, right?
Yeah.
And somebody did and just triggered the whole thing to just come tumbling down. So it's going to happen again. So basically what Willis is saying here is what we're experiencing now is that first parabolic run up after a bear market.
After a bear market, right?
Yeah, like we've been in like a year and a half bear cycle, and we're just now showing signs of bullishness. But we're not going to stay parabolic forever. Like this, I don't know how high it's going to go. I thought 8,000 was as high as it's going to get. I think that's a good point to stop.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll go up to 10. I don't know.
It'll settle between 6,000 and 7,000 though.
I think so, but it's going to maintain that positive trend for like 6 months or so.
Yeah. Until it halves, and then it's going to slowly increase until the end of the year.
Exactly.
In 2021.
So can you go back again? 2016. You know exactly when it halved?
We can look it up.
Who would have thought $10 mics would pick up such not bad, dude.
Such details?
Yeah, man. Remember I was like fighting you on this. It's like, dude, there's no way we could take $5 microphones and like pull off a podcast with them. Oh, was I wrong?
2016 happening. It doesn't have a date.
Well,
it's in the summer of 2016.
Okay, let's go back down the chart then. Summer 2016. I just want to see how high the price got. Like in did it reach the all-time high of 2013 whenever it halved? Let me see.
Okay, so this is 2015 and 2016.
There it is, that big ass peak right there.
Yeah,
that's probably it when it halved, and then it went down because buy the rumor, sell the news type shit. As soon as it has, people start selling, right?
Yeah,
that's the way markets go. So what price did it hit?
So June, what's that price right there?
767, I think. Okay, so
it's 770.
Okay, let's call it $800. So it got pretty close to the previous all-time high, which was $1,300. The 2013 peak.
It was 13. It was 13.
$1,300. Yeah, that was the previous all-time high. So it almost got to that point. So what I'm trying to stipulate, whenever the next halving occurs, we can assume the price will probably range between 12 to 14,000.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're trying to go by history,
I agree. Yeah.
So when is that? That's 2020.
So in about a year from now.
A year from now.
So going up from 8 to 14,000, that's almost 100%. Almost.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to stay at 8. Honestly, I think
that's what I'm saying. I think it'll go to 14,000 from 6,000.
6 or 7. So yeah, there's an opportunity there for a nice 100% return within the next year.
That's pretty good.
Just hold on to big. Yeah, that's
pretty good.
But that's just the start.
And that's only Bitcoin. I mean, the others tend to go up more than that.
Yeah, you would hope.
Just because they have smaller markets, that's why.
Yeah. You would hope. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the market in the meantime. Like a year is a long time, but it's nice. It's nice to know based on historical events, like we have a year of bullishness ahead of us.
Bitcoin is the only one that, cryptocurrencies are the only kind of assets that have these type of cycles.
Yeah, I know. We've established that. That's why it's almost unfair to have historical cycles to look at.
Yeah.
That's why I'm skeptical. Where I was skeptical, I was like, dude, there's no way you're right. Cause it's kind of it's almost like
easy.
cheating.
Yeah.
It's let's just go back. Everybody knows this 2020 date's happening.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
But if you look at how you judge other markets and other assets, it's pure speculation.
It's true.
Whenever there's an announcement, the price of a stock goes up. Once that announcement is made, everybody sells. And so with Bitcoin, there's built-in speculation dates, right? Which is a halvening.
That's not even really speculation, though.
It's not speculation
because everyone knows
they're speculating on the price, the value of Bitcoin. But
is it even because it's truly more valuable because there's less in circulation, right? Or
there's two things going on. There's less being entered into the market, and then the second thing is time has progressed, and therefore things have happened in the industry, right? There's a Lightning Network now that wasn't available 2 years ago. There's more adoption. As a matter of fact,
I heard lots of headlines recently about Whole Foods.
Yeah, during consensus, there's about 1,000 merchants that are accepting Bitcoin now.
Yeah. And there's a big one. There's a big payment provider that works with Whole Foods, a bunch of other retail establishments that if they're going to make it like seamless integration with payment systems.
Yeah.
You should know all about that, right?
See, but here's where I wouldn't spend any Bitcoin at the merchant. Not at all.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe if I want to buy a little piece of... Yeah, you're right. Yeah, why?
I wouldn't do that.
Why would I do
this
that?
is an asset that there's only 21 million units of. Like, I wouldn't spend Bitcoin there. I would choose some other crypto that's Bitcoin Cash. I mean,
But the reason people or merchants or retailers...
because they want Bitcoin.
No. And historically, I remember Steam used to accept Bitcoin.
Yeah, I remember that.
But they dumped it. They stopped it because it
Well,
was
it's
way
too
too
volatile.
volatile.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Imagine like a grocery store that's already operating on the thinnest of margins available possible.
That's a good point.
Your money all of a sudden, it's like tomorrow is 20% devalue. You're bankrupt, dude.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
over.
That's true.
But if they create these seamless...
But you know what? What they're doing is they're using these networks to convert that crypto immediately.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Through these sidechain protocols and stuff like that. So, but the Bitcoin is still being transacted. But like we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
You know, seems like second layer protocols are starting to get adopted.
Well, not only that, their processors, they're the ones who are converting the crypto instantly. So they're providing the liquid for that crypto that's being transacted at the store.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm fucking glad they are. That sounds great. It's always nice to have the option, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if people start seeing Bitcoin at the merchant, I mean, that's gonna create even more craze.
So I'm assuming it's going to work off your phone or something, some type of QR code or something.
They'll show you a QR code, you scan it, and
have you ever used Apple Pay?
I have.
Is it kind of a similar concept?
Well, Apple Pay uses NFC, and they're using the credit card network to process those transactions.
So if you have an Apple card or something?
No, you just use your phone. But they have an Apple card now.
Do they?
Yeah.
But I thought we were getting away from cards, no?
No, cards they're not going away.
So then how would you use your Apple phone?
You tap it on the terminal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't have to like pull out some app or nothing?
No, you just tap
your phone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then we can pretty much assume that all the phone manufacturers are going to start collecting crypto on the phones.
Yeah, I think Samsung's talked about that too.
Started doing it. They have a hardware wallet on their phone.
So this is all great news. Like, again,
another reason to be collecting Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I don't know about spending it though. That doesn't sound right to me.
I've done it. I don't regret it because at the time Bitcoin was worth like 18 grand a piece. So
Yeah.
I actually got away with a killing back then.
Yeah.
Overstock got wrecked.
Well, I'm sure they sold it.
I'm sure they did too. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying. See, it's going down. Maybe he said double top. We'll see. Maybe like some huge red candles.
This is what we're seeing right now, right? It's going to go down and then it's going to shoot back up.
Again?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But that's a pretty significant dip, dude, for it to rally right back up.
Yeah, I'm
just
surprised.
like that.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
I thought for sure like we were heading down to 6K. Like I said, I had bags just ready to go, dude.
So yesterday I was with family and they were asking me about Bitcoin.
Oh yeah?
And
family, I don't know, right? Like
family you don't know. Yeah.
Normal people.
And I was explaining to them the importance of cryptocurrency and the impact it's going to have on society. And no one seemed to understand the impact that crypto is going to have. And I told them the same analogy I told you is like, where were our parents when Amazon's price was at 45 cents or Apple's price was at, 30 cents or whatever it was. And I told them that they need to start paying attention to this stuff because that if there's going to be this huge wealth transfer, it's going to happen through cryptocurrencies, right? There's no other asset that's performing better than crypto.
No, this year crypto's smoked everything so far this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Smoked.
I mean, it's not even close. We're talking
It's
about
not.
like 100% returns over 1 year versus everything. Like you're getting maybe less than 10% on everything else. Oh, yeah. And that's pushing it too.
And that's something institutional money's looking at because right now we're like at the peak of equities markets. Everyone's price is really dipping here, dude. Price is going down fast. But anyways, like everyone's speculating that we're at the near an economic recession, right?
Yeah,
like we're due.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
It's been a while since 2008.
It's been a decade or more. So historically, just like how we can go back in time and look at these Bitcoin cycles, the same thing happens in the United States economy.
Yep.
We have cycles of
That's
ups
true.
and downs.
That's true.
So if you're a wise investor, you can time these cycles. You can get in, get out at the right times, right?
Yeah.
You sell the top, you buy the bottom.
Right.
This is what billionaires do today.
Yeah.
Like the billionaires have figured this shit out, but way back in the day.
Yeah.
They know the game.
Yeah.
So in cryptocurrency, we could do the same thing. But luckily our cycles are much shorter.
Yeah, they are.
And they're not influenced by global economics.
Yeah.
It's so far that we know.
It's coded.
Yeah.
Like the happening.
So far.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see if we haven't experienced like a true recession yet with cryptocurrencies in existence.
We haven't. You're right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Cryptocurrencies emerged from a recession.
From the last one.
And we haven't seen another one since then.
And they're saying the next one's going to be like the big one.
Yeah.
The God tier, like Great Depression 2.0, dude. Like we're cucked.
1930s again.
Exactly. Like we're going to have to start like living out in the wild again type shit. Society's just doomed. But I don't know. We'll see, man.
Oh, man. So I was explaining, so they had a bunch of questions like, they've heard of mining, they've heard of Bitcoin, they've heard of some of the other, a little bit less popular cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, and none of them have really heard about Ethereum. And so I was just trying to get a feel for like the crowd as to...
Your family's, and to put Will's family into context, your family's like pretty smart, right? They're all like engineers and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, they're engineers, but I don't think they know anything about cryptocurrency other than the headlines.
Yeah. Well, they're not looking into it.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know much.
But they're still like tech savvy people, right?
Yeah, they're savvy.
Yeah. See, that's more than my family.
Yeah. Well, they think they think you're wasting your time on.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
They did back in when I first got into it.
Until they saw that cheddar, right?
Well, yeah, and then they start coming and asking me like, "Hey, I got 30 grand. You want to invest it for me?"
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, I don't have my own fund yet.
Yeah.
But the point is, there was a lot. Like I had my own little family gatherings, and I had to explain to them what it was.
Yeah.
And that's always an awkward conversation. Like you said, it feels weird trying to explain to somebody.
Because it feels like you're explaining something that's like fantasy.
Yeah, like I said.
How do you transfer a digital asset from one place to another without a third party? Like, that doesn't ring a bell with a lot of people.
Well, and then to get them to understand why we need it.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of people didn't even know what caused like the 2008.
Well, it's like when we had the horse and buggy. Like, why do we need a car when we have transportation already?
Exactly. Or like any type of change is always resistance.
It's like that.
Same
video.
thing with the internet.
The internet. Like, what is that at sign? Like why do you need an email when I can just call you?
Or why don't you just go to the library, you lazy fuck? Like, what do you need the internet for to go learn learn your shit? It's like we got tons of encyclopedias in the bookshelf. We spent like $100 for these books.
Yeah.
Just open one of those. Yeah. That's I think that's just like.
And so crypto's the next thing that we have to explain to everybody.
Well, one of the next things.
And then, they're you can tell 10 years from now, they're going to be like, Will, how come you didn't say anything about cryptocurrencies 10 years ago? I was like, dude, I said it 10 years ago and you didn't listen.
Yeah.
So
all y'all listening right now, you guys are killing it.
Well,
literally, if
you're listening right now, you guys are way ahead.
Yeah,
this is still the beginning.
I thought I was late in 2017. Yeah. Like I was like, dude, I'm so late to the party.
Yeah.
I was like, I should have. Yeah. Like whenever I first heard about it in like 2014, 2013 days, like that was legit. Like you're early.
Yeah.
You're stupid early, but you're still early.
Yeah.
Even today. Yeah. In like the grand scheme of things, this is just going to take decades.
That's right.
To, to be set in stone.
Yeah, and then if you go look at the charts in the last 10 years, you compare today with 10 years ago, I mean, we're $8,000 versus $1. I mean, come on. What asset has given that kind of returns?
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't even considered an asset. People are still struggling with calling cryptocurrencies assets today.
Yeah.
So, but it is. It behaves just like what is the definition of an asset? That's a good question.
Something that can appreciate, I would assume.
So then would a Bitcoin or like a Beanie Baby in the late 90s, would that be considered an asset?
I guess so. Maybe not anymore.
Like baseball cards, like classic baseball cards?
Yeah, I think so. I think
classic
that's considered
cars,
an asset.
maybe?
Yeah, classic cars. Yeah.
Okay, so
Some people would say a house is a liability and not an asset, but it just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, because like
It ties up all your liquid and
not all of it, right? Well, down payment,
and then
expenses,
and then you have debt.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
debt's
like-
always a bitch.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
according to traditional knowledge, yeah, it should always appreciate in value, right?
Yeah, and the fact that Bitcoin is getting accepted at thousands of retailers, Bitcoin has been accepted before in retailers, and they've dropped the Bitcoin because of its volatility.
Yeah, like Steam. Yeah,
But now it's being accepted again, so I'm not sure. Like the volatility hasn't changed.
well, it's because those payment providers, they're creating new seamless integration methods.
Yeah, I guess they're accepting Bitcoin and then converting it to fiat. So,
With it's supposed to be so seamless, like the cashier doesn't even know what's happening.
and here's another big deal about this. This is why it's a big deal. The merchants right now, when they accept credit cards, they're paying between 3 and 5% per
Yes.
transaction.
Yeah.
And when you're a retailer, your margins are 5% maximum. Maybe if you're lucky, you're selling at 10% margins.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about having some company take away 30% of your profit, really the 3 to 5%, 30 to 50% of your profit, the merchants don't like that. And so
But they
now
have no choice, right?
they have no choice.
Because
It's
credit
because
cards
it's standard. It's been standardized, and there's a
You're
whole
expected.
Yeah, there's if you get fraud, you get your money back. All that stuff is the reason why merchants continue accepting credit cards. But now with cryptocurrency, they're not paying 3%. Maybe they're paying 0.001% for all these transactions.
Basically free.
So basically free, and they're gaining that profit margin. They're gaining 30% more money than they were when they accept crypto. The only issue with that is you could lose your money if you get hacked, right? If somebody steals your private keys,
The retailer?
well, the retailer and the consumer as well, right? It's riskier to use crypto. Like it's not risky to pay with crypto because no valuable data gets exposed, unlike credit card information. That credit card information does get exposed when you use your credit card. But with crypto, your private keys are not exposed. They're on your phone, they're on a USB drive, whatever it is. And so it's safer to use crypto. However, if you get hacked and somebody steals your private keys, you could lose all your money, right? So that's the danger. And
But
there's no insurance where you get your money back.
But the likelihood of getting hacked and getting your crypto stolen or your credit card information stolen, is it the same? Or will there be like a more likely...
No, it's more likely to get your credit card information stolen just because you're actually using the data that's valuable, right? That credit card information is exposed to the point of sale terminal. And if that terminal gets compromised, that hacker is stealing your credit card information so they can go and spend your money.
Yeah,
But you would get your money back because you would just complain to your bank.
But you're saying that the merchants are at risk of getting their money stolen, right?
Well, only because somebody at that merchant is holding the private keys. It could be on a cell phone, it could be on a USB drive, or it can be in their servers. So we might see a wave of merchants getting their private keys stolen, which would be a big deal because if they're accepting crypto and that wallet gets compromised, I mean, all their crypto is gone. And there's no way of getting it back. And think about it. From a regulatory standpoint, the government, how could they return your Bitcoins?
But they wouldn't be holding them, wouldn't they?
Well, I guess not. I mean, if their processor is converting their crypto into fiat, then they wouldn't be holding it.
I guess it's the processor who...
Yeah, the processor would be the one liable in a legal
scenario.
case.
I don't know how they're doing it. Yeah, because if the processor, the payment processor, who's already processing all these credit card transactions, they're just going to integrate cryptocurrencies into their already existing framework. I guess they're the ones who are storing these cryptos.
Yes, that's right.
They're probably going to have some type of payment channel set up, just like a second layer solution, like we talked about last week, like the Lightning Network. They're probably going to have their own.
It could be as simple as they're holding the private keys in a cold storage wallet, so it's not connected to the internet, and all the transactions that the merchant is making, all the cryptocurrency is going into that cold wallet.
Okay.
And so in that case, if they're very careful to not to expose those private keys, and there's no way they could get hacked.
Yeah.
So, but they still have to move that money. So they have to connect that wallet to an internet account to move that crypto, move it from being crypto and then converting it to fiat.
Yeah.
So they have to actually move it, probably send it to an exchange and then convert it to USD.
Well, how are they going to do it? I'm glad they're doing it because it's good for the market as a whole. This is what we need. Like signs of adoption and ease of use is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, this is these are normal day-to-day, mega corporations. I'm assuming these are very payment processors.
Oh yeah, they're not dumb, right? They know,
wouldn't do this unless they felt.
Yeah. It's a value added thing for their client. Their client is the merchant.
Yeah.
And you're telling your client, say, hey, client, and cryptocurrencies is becoming very popular. With crypto, you're not paying the 3% that you're currently paying right now. So the merchants, they have an incentive to push crypto now because of the 3%. And so you might be getting a discount on your groceries if you pay with crypto.
That would be game over, dude. What the hell?
I know. The only thing is, personally, I would not use Bitcoin for groceries just because Bitcoin to me is more valuable than $8,000 or $20,000.
Yeah, because $8,000 is always going to be $8,000.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never going to fluctuate, but $8,000 worth of Bitcoin.
If you have one Bitcoin at 8,000, that one BTC could be worth $1 million.
10 years from now, you'll be like the new pizza guy.
Exactly.
Pizza guy spent like, what is it? $20 million the pizza he bought in 2011 or something.
So he spent 10,000 Bitcoins to buy 2 pizzas. And according to the interview, in the
60 minutes
commercial,
piece,
he said that he spent over 100,000 Bitcoins on all kinds of stuff.
I believe it, dude. Like I said, in the early days, Bitcoin was used by gamers just to sell items and shit to each other, like on the black market. You know, shit you weren't supposed to do. You weren't supposed to make profit off another game's items, right? They were doing it anyways. They're using Bitcoins. Like, I'll sell you my epic, epic staff for 20,000 Bitcoins, which is probably like pennies at the time. I remember people saying that. They're like, or you can buy gold, actual video game gold.
Right. Diablo gold.
Yeah, they're exchanging that for Bitcoins back then. Because back then it was legit just nerd money.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a nobody wanted them. So that's crazy. That's interesting.
But damn, man, 10,000.
Yeah.
So 10,000 would be worth, I think they said close to 800 million right now.
800 million?
800 million.
$800 million pizza order. Wow. Dude. See, that makes me feel better.
What pizza company accepted Bitcoin?
That's a good point. Like, who has those Bitcoins?
Why would anybody trade fiat currency for Bitcoin? Like, why would they do that?
I'm saying, like, why would it had to be like some kind of like hole in the wall family, like Mom and Pa joint, right?
It must have been.
He probably like knew the guy or something, or called him up like, hey, you heard of this Bitcoin thing?
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I have heard of this Bitcoin thing.
Do you want some?
It's like, I'm really hungry, dude. I got no cash.
Yeah.
I got 10,000 of these little bees.
That's so weird to me.
These golden bees.
Yeah, that's so weird to me. First, there's somebody who had 10,000 Bitcoin, so I'm assuming he was a miner. And then there's a merchant out there who was willing to accept Bitcoin. Like, that's such a rare.
What happened to that merchant?
Yeah,
those Bitcoins.
What they do with it?
What if they just left it? They just forgot about them.
Yeah, they probably.
Right? Or maybe they just sold them right away.
They couldn't convert it to fiat currency, right? Mt. Gox wasn't available. The only way they could convert it to fiat is if you wanted Bitcoin and you had cash, then I would sell you my Bitcoin.
Fuck, I don't know. That must have been rough back in those days.
They probably still have the 10,000 Bitcoin.
On a computer they dumped like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
They're probably either that or they're like filthy rich. Like, fuck you guys, I don't want to interview 60 Minutes.
Yeah. And that's when I was getting into Bitcoin. That's one of the earliest stories that I've heard, like early on, like learning what this stuff was. There was
well, those are the headliners, man. Those are the sexy stories that like make you tune in, right?
So there was two things.
Just like the guy who sold all his shit to move to the jungle with his family.
Yeah, there was like these two legendary things. Satoshi Nakamoto that nobody knows, and then this guy who purchased 2 pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin.
Fucking legendary pizza man. Yeah.
And he's being interviewed in the 60 Minutes, by the way.
But you gotta assume he's probably still chilling. If he's known about Bitcoin and he's like a coder.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm assuming he's
fine.
Kept up with the space.
Yeah.
Like, he probably has, I'm hoping, a good stash of Bitcoin still.
I would imagine that if he spent 100,000 Bitcoins, he probably had more than 100,000 Bitcoins.
Just like residual Bitcoins lying around, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
A couple thousand, which would be a lot.
So that's what I'm saying. He's probably super rich. I want to watch that interview.
Yeah. So now we got thousands of merchants accepting crypto. And have you heard of this company called Cryptopia?
Isn't that an exchange?
It's an exchange. And apparently they got hacked recently and now they're going through liquidation. So it looks like they're going bankrupt.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean,
is it like a U.S. based exchange or you don't know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like I gave my information to so many exchanges and a lot of them don't exist anymore.
Oh, this company Cryptopia is based out of Christchurch.
What?
Christchurch?
Is that New Zealand?
New Zealand, yeah, where that shooting happened.
Oh yeah. I wonder if there's no way that's correlated.
No, I don't think it's correlated.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the highly publicized hack of Cryptopia's exchange in January 2019 had a severe impact on the company's trade.
Wait, what did?
The hack of Cryptopia's exchange in January 2019. So a few months ago.
How much they took?
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
It says the liquidators are focused on securing the assets for the benefit of all stakeholders. While this process of investigation take place, trading on the exchange has been suspended. So people who had crypto in Cryptopia, they can't get their money out. And that sucks.
Of course it sucks. That's one of the risks of the cryptocurrency space. You don't want to trust these small exchanges, man. I know it's tempting because a lot of these projects, like when they first launched, like I say, they don't all get onto Binance right off the bat.
True.
And some of them
That's a good point. A lot of the cryptocurrency that you want to invest in, they're not all on Binance or Coinbase.
Those are the juggernauts right now currently.
Yeah.
But there's a fuck ton of exchanges, a lot, and it's a lot of projects. Some of them might have some actual promise. You might do some research on them and be like,
but
hey,
if it's true that they have promise, they'll end up on Binance.
Exactly. So you want to, but that's my point.
You gotta wait.
You gotta take some serious risk, like I did, a lot of people do to
go through
KYC, requirements just to be able to purchase them on these sketchy ass exchanges.
That's true. I remember there was an exchange that would give you like a couple, like half a Bitcoin in exchange for your ID.
What?
Yeah.
You saw that? Yeah. What?
They would give you money for your license. Like,
oh hell no, dude.
That's crazy.
It's clearly a scam.
Definitely a sketch.
What the dude?
Oh man,
I wouldn't have touched that one at all. That was a little scary. But this, I don't know, man. There's lots of problems with exchanges, but we're at the mercy of them. That's the problem as a market.
Yeah, and those. So what's a decentralized exchange then?
I would assume it's the same thing as anything. It's a decentralized. It's like a decentralized app. What's a decentralized app? It's an app not run by any central company.
This is how I would interpret a decentralized exchange. It has to be an application that runs on your computer, and that application has access to the internet, right?
Yes.
And
to be able to connect.
So what the application does is it connects buyers and sellers without going through a central party like a Binance, like a Coinbase.
Yeah.
And so just think of a BitTorrent app where in this particular application, you want to buy 1 Bitcoin.
Yes.
And you type it in, you basically broadcast that you want to buy 1 Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And then there's some person on the planet that says, I want to sell you 1 Bitcoin. And so then the price is basically negotiated between the two parties. Let's say it was $8,000. Then you submit your $8,000 payment and then they send you their Bitcoin.
Okay.
And so that price is completely manipulated by the users. Some people would pay $9,000 for that Bitcoin and others are only willing to pay $7,000, which is exactly what's happening right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
But instead of having a back-end server control the price or not necessarily control the price, but adjust the price according to what people are willing to buy and sell Bitcoin for. But your application is doing that now. So now in this case, in this decentralized exchange, there is no backend server that can get shut down. It's always online.
Or hacked into, right?
Or hacked into, correct.
Yeah.
It's always online. You can buy and sell at any time. Doesn't matter whether or not Binance gets hacked or any other exchange gets hacked. I mean, this is just an application that runs on your computer. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't operate like that, then it's definitely not a decentralized exchange. and it's still subject to all the regulatory stuff that we've been seeing.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you'll be able to regulate decentralized exchange.
Well, somebody's updating the code. Somebody has to manage the code and maintenance. Somebody has to do it.
Somebody, yes, but not CZ, not Binance.
Maybe not. No, maybe not.
Yeah.
But just because you run a decentralized application doesn't mean you can do anything that you want. That's the thing.
But the government can't tell you what to do is the thing. The government can tell Coinbase what to do. You know, if the government wants Coinbase's transaction history, their data history,
they can subpoena it and get that information.
Yeah, they can't dig into the files of everybody's computers in a decentralized exchange, right? True. They can't do anything about it, and that's kind of what we need. But that's the problem. Like again, we're at that. It's like an impasse. Like we want institutional retail money in the market, right? We want ease of use. We want mass adoption. We want like everybody to be like invested in this space and be having a grand old time. Everything's safe and dandy and great, regulated. But we're at the mercy of
the regulations
getting hacked. Or again, like if governments don't like this shit anymore, they could just pull the plug on everything.
Yeah.
So the only solution to that is decentralize it.
Yeah.
That's the whole movement we're going. That's the whole backbone.
Point,
that's kind of like the backbone of cryptocurrencies to decentralize everything. So, you know, it's kind of...
But you can't have a Wild West when it comes to money, though.
You can't. That's what I'm saying. But the diehards will say all that.
Yeah, that's true.
If you truly want a decentralized currency, you can't be at the mercy of these decentralized exchanges.
Well... So the currency is decentralized,
yes,
but the exchanges, you have to convert that crypto into fiat. But at some point, we're not going to need fiat anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
way in the future.
Well, that's way in the future for sure. Yeah. Which is part of the reason why you need centralized exchanges to convert it to fiat. Like, how are you going to, in this decentralized exchange, how are you going to convert your one Bitcoin into $8,000 from an application that's running on your computer?
Like that application, the same way you do on Binance. It would just be
on Binance you would tether out. Well, not necessarily. You convert it to Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, you don't. I don't do it on Binance. Yeah, you're right. Oh, let's say Coinbase. The same way you do it on Coinbase.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So what you would do is use this exchange to get your Bitcoin, and then send that Bitcoin to Coinbase, and then convert it to actual dollars.
Essentially, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you just have a stable coin on this decentralized exchange. You don't necessarily need dollars. It's a stable coin.
That's true.
Yeah, just like Binance. I don't cash out through Binance.
So in this decentralized exchange, they don't have to connect to any bank. So
exactly. That's beautiful.
It is.
That's what the market needs. But like I said, an institutional bank won't touch that with a fucking 10-foot pole.
They can't touch it. They can't.
Yeah, I don't think this is too much, but
that would make sense. I mean, this decentralized exchange is purely crypto. There's no fiat currency at all. The only crazy thing is that you can use crypto to buy groceries. So, I mean, you're still dealing with real money here.
Yeah. And this is like what we want it to be like. Like you said, that's part of the way to slowly phase out these centralized entities such as the dollar, such as the bank, such as the government interference, all that stuff.
Yep.
You will need these decentralized exchanges to gain adoption to where people we're no longer, we don't give a shit about the dollar anymore. We're just flipping cryptos here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and merchants are accepting it. Everything's nice, fine and dandy. But
I wonder, CZ from Binance, the CEO of Binance, he's coming out with his own decentralized exchange. Yeah. I mean, I wonder what's his incentive. I guess he still makes money on exchanging a Bitcoin versus to Ethereum, for example.
I don't know how he's going to make money. That's a good question. You mean like a transaction fee?
Yeah, like a conversion fee. Like whenever you use your Bitcoin to buy Ethereum, he gets a cut, like 0.01%.
But it's not going through his servers. Is it?
Well, these decentralized apps, they still make money, and it could be through transactions. It could be through converting a crypto to another crypto. I mean, they still make money.
Yeah,
you need gas. In other words, to run this application.
Yeah.
So that gas pays for...
Well, it's the BNB token, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose of the... Well, right now, BNB token is to lower your fees.
The fees by half. Yeah. So I think they go from 0.1%.
So I guess if he was going to have a decentralized exchange, it would probably be like a BNB blockchain, their own blockchain.
Yeah.
and then they'd have the BNB token would increase in value. He'd probably have ownership in that blockchain. It's just another way for him to make a killing, basically. Because if the BNB ecosystem grows, like a decentralized version of it,
which is okay. I mean, you would just have to buy BNB tokens.
It's just like Ethereum. Like the Ethereum Foundation has 20% of the tokens, whatever the fuck.
That's right.
Nobody's mad about that.
Yeah.
You know, Vitalik's a rich man, but he created the blockchain that supposedly is the next internet.
Yeah.
So whatever. So in essence, CZ would reap those rewards, you know, on top of his already ridiculous enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think the decentralized exchange is the way to go. It's just, that's such a new thing right now that it wouldn't make sense for any newcomers to start hopping on decentralized exchanges because you don't know how it's going to work.
And it's not going to be as good as Binance.
Yeah,
Binance
definitely
is
not.
Awesome because it's centralized. It's fast. It's instant. It's not the greatest. It's still trash. Like in
you can set stop losses on Binance too, right?
I don't think so.
I think you can, dude.
Well, I never figured it out. Again, I'm not as savvy as I like to make myself seem.
Yeah.
But I still take huge losses. But my point is, as an exchange, it looks good.
Yeah.
It's clean. Has a good friendly user interface.
I'll tell you what. When I first got onto Binance, I was so confused.
Yeah.
Like,
did it look like how it looks right now? Or did it look different?
Well, Binance doesn't look like this.
No. Like, click on that Binance tab.
Yeah. That's how it looked.
It did?
Yeah.
It never changed since then?
No.
Really? Yeah. I mean, of course. Yeah, you were confused. Look at that shit. It looks, it looks horrible.
I had no idea what I was looking at. I see these charts. I see the numbers on the left and the right. They keep changing.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening.
Well, that was your introduction to like any kind of investment platform.
Yeah,
like you never even went on like Robinhood or anything?
No, I didn't.
I mean, Robinhood's nothing compared to this, but yeah, of course it's going to take a while to adapt. Dude, I started with like straight trash tier exchanges like compared to this. That's why I say when Binance came out, I was like, damn, this is nice. Because I was using Bittrex. I was using HitBTC. At some point I was using Ether Delta. I've
heard of that. Yeah.
It was kind of, I think it was a decentralized exchange on the Ethereum network, but the problem is Ethereum.
It was so slow?
Yeah, it was in the dude, if you looked up, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
As far as like the interface, it just was not user friendly. So Binance came out with like a very sleek design, very fast servers, you know, and they killed it.
Yeah.
They killed the market. It was a nobody, you know?
Yeah. But as soon as I got a hang of it, I had like 6 charts all on one screen.
Exactly. You like to feel, I did the same exact shit. Yeah. People come over to my house like, dude, what
are you doing?
It's like some beautiful mind type shit. Yeah. In reality, I wasn't doing nothing. I was just like sitting there. Yeah. It's like scratching my nuts. It's like charts were going ham.
I was like, bro, I just made $1,000 right there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, you jealous?
Yeah.
What'd you do today? I went to work. It's like, it's not me.
Not me.
Sitting here watching green candles grow, bro. Yeah. It's like, get in here. And then all my friends saw it. They came in and bought the top. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. It's like, sorry, bro. You came a little too late.
They bought it at 19,000.
Yeah, literally, like after them fighting me, like when Bitcoin was like $4 or $5 grand, it's like, dude, it's a scam. Trust me, like you're wasting your money, you're gonna get robbed.
Right.
And then they fucking finally bought the bait at 20,000. Now I'm looking at this chart. I got none against Matic and stuff, but we'll see. This is the start of the IEO phase. Like, we'll see what happens from here on out.
Well, at 2 pennies, I mean, you can buy a lot of these coins.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. But if you have like 1,000 coins, like it makes you kind of feel cool.
I know, but that's something I'm writing about in my blog post. Like a noob mistake is like when people see like, it's only a penny.
Yeah,
it's like it's cheap. Yeah. I can own like 100,000 of these.
When like max supply is like $1 trillion.
Exactly. But it doesn't mean just because it's cheap on paper has any value over anything else.
No,
it's
absolutely.
It's something people don't. But it's like an easy psychology trick, you know?
Yeah.
People see like this tiny number, they think it's just like cheap. Yeah. So it's like, I gotta get these.
Yeah, there's a lot of crypto you can buy that is worth less than a penny.
Yeah.
Like $0.0005 dollars.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't mean it's a good investment. You have to look at the max supply. Like for example, max supply for Bitcoin is 21 million. And right now in circulation for Bitcoin is 17 million. Yeah. And so other cryptocurrencies have a max supply of 1 billion or 2 billion. It just depends on how they design that crypto.
Yeah. Ideally, like me, I prefer to stay away from those that have like in the billions. I don't know.
For sure.
I like to stick around like at least under $1 billion. You know, under $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's usually my metric, but
it just depends. I mean, like EOS, it doesn't have a max supply.
Well, it's because it has like a 5% inflation, right?
Yeah.
But I think the max was $1 billion, right? At the beginning? Yeah, it was like $1 billion.
Was it $1 billion?
I think it was $1 billion. And then every year is going to be what? 5% of $1 billion. Damn it. Somebody got a calculator?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh, 50 million.
You'd have to look at CoinMarketCap to get that data. Oh yeah, I'll just throw that out there. If you're interested in like finding data or information on all the top cryptocurrencies, you go to coinmarketcap.com. I totally should get sponsored for just shilling the fuck out of that. Regardless, it's a good tool to use. You can see like the top 100. It tells you the market cap, total supply.
Yeah, the price,
the current price,
all the crypto.
That's all essential data that you need to observe on a daily basis if you're trying to invest.
Yeah. So the only things so we had a crazy Bitcoin price this week. It went as low as 6,900 and then it jumped back up to 8,300. That's pretty standard for crypto, but it's not standard because it's been on a bear market for a good while. And so now that it's rebounding, I think you're starting to see more headlines and more mainstream people talking about it. Talking heads.
Yeah, but for sure. Like CNBC was covering it all week.
Yeah, there was another one. There's this other campaign on Twitter talking about drop gold.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And so now there's this whole group of people, telling everybody to drop gold. And although they're not wrong, you just can't follow a campaign just blindly. You have to understand why you're dropping gold. You're not dropping gold just because you saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like personally, I would have dropped gold a long time ago, but I don't have any gold, so there's nothing for me to drop.
But it seems like that feeds into the whole tribalism thing, dude. It almost sounds like some shit like a vegan would do. It's like don't eat meat. Yeah, it's like no blood.
Yeah, save the animals.
Yeah, dude, it's a little too militant in my opinion to try and persuade people like that. Like before you know it, you're gonna if you see somebody with a gold chain around their neck, they're gonna just rip them off. It's like fuck you. It's like we Bitcoin only in this world, some shit like that. Like it's too.
Well, whoever is carrying gold beyond a certain point in time, he's a fool. I mean, why would you want to carry around gold?
Well, if it's not valued anything, well, it might just look cool,
dude. It doesn't. No, dude.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't, dude.
Dude, there's a reason why it's worth thousands of dollars per ounce weight.
Yeah, well, pretty soon it's going to be worth nothing.
Well, see, there you go.
It's going to be it's going to be worth what it's used for, and right now it's chips.
Okay. But there you go. So
that's its only value, which is valuable for sure, but it's not any more valuable than what it's used for.
Okay. Yeah, we've been down this tunnel before many times. But my point is, I don't know if I agree with people going out and starting campaigns to
No, that's true.
I feel like that's
a little bit ahead.
I don't know.
We're not up to that point yet.
No, I don't think you need it, period. Like it should just be, were there people out there like screaming natural. The internet? Like were there? I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It just happened because the internet was just so awesome. It just took over.
Yeah.
That's the way cryptocurrency should be. We don't need to shill that hard. I feel like then people are going to look at that and think now it's even more of a scam.
I wonder. Yeah, true. I wonder what their incentive is to have people drop gold. Like maybe I think they're like an asset management company and they want people who are savvy about their investments. And if you're savvy, you're not going to necessarily invest in gold just because it's at its peak right now. So,
yeah, well, again, but as a hedge,
it's a hedge.
Like I said, you don't invest your full portfolio in gold.
No,
but there's nothing wrong with having a small little chunk of it.
Yeah,
just
I agree with
hedge. That. There's nothing wrong with it. Just like again, there's nothing wrong with having a small.
That's why I wonder, this drop gold. Like, why do it? I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's just militant. It's just tribalism again. It's the same thing as the vegans. It's like they're running out there in restaurants and protesting against meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just people get a little too crazy about too passionate.
Too much juice.
I guess they get a little too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
Who have time to protest these days, for reals.
Yeah. No, that's true. I wonder why. But it was all over Twitter. And as a matter of fact, they got all the way up to some gold asset manager. and he was saying that Bitcoin's a scam.
Oh, Peter Schiff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing that name out there without even knowing if that's him or not.
No, that was him.
Dude, he was like the perfect guy to combat that. Like
He could have at least, said something intelligent, but he just called it out as a scam, which completely throws out his
Twitter,
credibility.
that's probably all he said. But he's got tons of interviews. You should watch him debate against Roger Voorhees.
Oh, really?
He has a debate against him. It's like whether or not Bitcoin or gold is.
Oh, man, that would have been.
You got to watch that.
That would have been nice.
Watch it. It's good shit. And he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast. But the thing is, he's biased as dude. He sells gold.
Yeah.
He's a fucking gold merchant.
Yeah, but he sells gold, but I think he believes in gold, though.
Well, you got to believe in what you're selling, right? I would hope so.
Well, yeah.
Even if he doesn't believe it, like, you got to pretend. Like to sell your own product, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he's a smart guy. He was one of the guys who he was like sounding the alarm bells on the 2008 financial crisis, like years ahead of time. So he's got some clout in that regards. Like he has a good mind when it comes to economics.
Yeah.
But like I said, he's got a clear bias when it comes to this. Like, of course, he's not going to embrace the gold killer. His namesake is gold. Like he needs gold to thrive.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny that you could be so tribalistic about something and there's nothing that can convince you out of it. Like there's no amount of evidence or there's no amount of situations that can convince you out of this tribal view on something.
Yeah. Well,
that's not how it should be. I think everybody should.
Well, it's easier for us to say because we're a lot younger than him.
Yeah.
He's probably like in his 50s, maybe early 60s or something. So his brain wiring is like fucking solid, bro.
Yeah, it's crystallized.
You know what I mean? Like all his life, all he's known is like gold is the shit.
Yeah.
Like gold is awesome. And it's always been increasing in value since he's been born. You know, gold has been on a bullish trajectory itself.
And nobody would have guessed that some digital thing would have overtaken gold.
No, of course.
Yeah.
And it just happened like yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
In his life context, right?
Yeah.
In the context of his living existence.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, like he's got like these millennials, like, dude, gold's
yeah.
Like he has to walk down the street and hear that type of shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck? And then that generation totally like doesn't respect us anyways. Like, they think whatever we think of, we're just a bunch of lazy cunts, basically, in their eyes. So it's like, why would the millennials create anything good, right?
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know. Satoshi's probably not a millennial, but
yeah,
I feel like millennials are backing this thing more than
you never know.
boomers.
Yeah, Satoshi might be a millennial, but it seems unlikely. It seems very unlikely. You have to have like so many experts in like the network and cryptography and all that stuff. Like it can't be a millennial.
Well, then look at Vitalik. Dude, he created Ethereum when he was like 19 or something like that.
Yeah,
he's like a fucking baby boy, and he like made Ethereum.
Yeah,
like shadowed over the whole market.
Yeah.
One boy with a dream.
So I got some numbers for the 60 Minutes, and it turns out it's going to be around 12 million people are going to get a good look at Bitcoin. 60 Minutes.
Where the hell did you see that?
It's a headline.
12 million people. How like is that a lot?
Well,
that's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I mean, it's not the Super Bowl, but
I'm wondering if that's like a lot for 60 minutes. Like
no, it's average.
It's like a standard 60 minutes. Okay. I was thinking like all of a sudden everybody's like interested, like, whoa, finally something about Bitcoin.
So the whole show is not about Bitcoin. It's a segment. So the show, a 230 billion money laundering scheme from Russian rubles to US dollars, a Canadian group that has helped hundreds of LGBT people get out of countries where they are at risk, and finally the financial world of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. That's the title, the episode description.
Okay. Gotcha. But
it is interesting that it's coming out now, right when Bitcoin's like rebounding.
Yeah, it's just good timing for us.
That's so weird.
It's good timing because like people are gonna see this report, they're gonna go look online. What is Bitcoin?
Yeah,
and they're gonna see the price, and it's green. It's been green for like a good chunk now.
Yeah, they're gonna
be like, holy shit! I need to get some of these. Yeah. You know, it's like the fucking television man was right.
Yeah,
it's like Bitcoin is a shit.
Yeah,
so it's gonna drive a little bit of media mania.
Yeah,
maybe. No, maybe not mass like before, but it might be a nice little to keep the bull trend coming.
People, I don't know. What's your opinion? Once people learn about Bitcoin, do you think they're just going to buy immediately, or they're going to do a bunch of research and then buy? There's going to be
they're just going to buy.
You think so?
No one's going to do research.
Wow.
Somebody who sees this shit on 60 Minutes, the only research they're going to do is like
They're just gonna look at the history of the chart and that's it, or
Well, okay, but this isn't this again. This is the problem. This is just an individual 60 minutes piece. During the actual mania of like 2017, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
like just normal.
well, because of the
day-to-day.
price was all time highs.
Exactly.
it was all time highs once it reached $3,000.
Exactly. So there's not that pressure yet.
Yeah.
The pressure was like insane at the moment, to where like everybody, your family, like at Thanksgiving was like when it started. After Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
so everyone got together and they were talking about this Bitcoin thing.
Yeah.
And that like boomed it, you know. And I back then I know nobody studied it, because everyone I know who bought it during those times, they have no idea what it is today. Like, what is Bitcoin? I mean, they all lost a ton of money.
Yeah.
They still don't understand what they just know it's like some kind of online cash, some online currency that goes up and down.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They don't know what a blockchain is. You know, what's the point?
Oh boy.
But there will be some people that will see it and then they'll investigate. And
Yeah, when I was talking to my family, they were asking me questions on what is mining. And mining, even though it's extremely important for Bitcoin, it's not one of those things that you need to know how it works. But most of these people, I mean,
that's an important thing. Like,
I'm thinking that they just heard the word mining and they're curious as to what it was. But explain mining to people.
You don't have to be an expert at these crypto things. It's something important to lay out, because even if you want to invest in Apple, like it's almost like
but they don't have anything as complicated as mining with Apple.
Okay, let me think of a different example.
Like Tesla, nobody's as complicated as mining. Like, there is no asset that is as complicated as crypto.
Yeah, when it comes to like stocks, and it's pretty intuitive to figure out what's something good to invest in, because it's like I said, it's something you could look at.
Yeah, and the narrative really starts with being able to send a digital asset without a third party being involved. So it's a me to you transaction versus a me to bank to you transaction.
Yes.
And so once you say that, they're like, well, how does that happen? I was like, well, it happens through this network of miners. And they're like, well, what's a miner? And then so you get into this rabbit hole where once you explain mining, they've already lost you, like, 20 sentences ago.
Because it's just new.
Yeah, it's not only new, but it's so deep. Like, how do you answer? How do you answer sending a digital asset to somebody without a third party, without getting into like how it works?
And more than likely, this person doesn't even like understand how email works.
Well,
they're like,
that's true. Like, they don't even know that you're communicating with servers when you're accessing the internet.
Like, what most people don't know what the cloud is. For the longest time, I thought the cloud was like a legit fucking cloud. Like, I'm putting myself among those people. Like, I'm not tech savvy at all.
Yeah,
I'm still rocking a Galaxy S7 over here, dude. Like, I'm fucking way behind. But I did my homework, dude. I spent, like I said, I locked myself away for months to learn this stuff. And not a lot of people have the time to do that.
Yeah,
so.
And that's what happens. I mean, once you get the impact of what cryptocurrencies you're going to do, you're going to do the research and you're going to basically get locked up into a room and then figure this stuff out.
Yeah, you got to go down the rabbit hole for sure.
It's that interesting. But from a speculation standpoint, you don't really need to know all of that stuff.
Yeah, like whenever I make an investment, and again, I'll use Power Ledger as an example, which was because it was one of my best investments in 2017. And basically, the gist of what I understood is the reason I liked it because it was the first mover in the market, meaning it was the first cryptocurrency to merge, renewable energy with blockchain technology, to where you can, if you have solar panels installed in your house, everybody always says like the excess energy you produce, you send back to the energy
grid.
Provider, right? To the grid.
Yep.
Well, when you tokenize energy, essentially you can trade with other people on the market. You could trade your excess energy to people who might not have it, and maybe at like a lesser price or something like that. So it opens a whole new economy of energy trading.
Yep.
So that's all I heard. That's all I read. I didn't look into see like the nitty gritty details. Of like how it worked. But I just knew, like, once people heard about this concept, it was new, it was revolutionary, it's something nobody thought of yet. I was like, this is something you need to put some chips in, Not
only that, I mean, I think what hooked me was when learning about the general's Byzantine problem, where that particular problem was a computer science problem that hasn't been solved until Satoshi Nakamoto came out with his paper. And so that right there interests me. I was like, wait a minute.
But that's a little more complicated because nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. You said you're talking about Byzantine fault tolerance or whatever the fuck. Yeah, dude, what the hell? Yeah. So it's a little easier to you know.
The problem was, how do you get generals of an army who are surrounding a castle? How do you get them synced up to attack at the same time, without this delay in communication?
Yes.
And so what happened was, it's even hard to explain the general's Byzantine problem without having to draw it out. It's a consensus problem. It's an agreement between all the generals to attack at the same time, because if one general doesn't attack at the exact same time, your other generals are going to lose. Your army will lose against the castle. Or if one general is lying to the other to attack at one particular time, then that general that you lied to is going to lose, is going to die, right? And so they need to reach a consensus at a particular time to attack at the exact same time in order to have a chance to win. And so what Bitcoin does is it provides that consensus mechanism, so to avoid the double spend problem. So it goes really deep from here. But the only thing that you guys need to know is essentially it solves a computer science problem with cryptography. Mm-hmm. And so that's sort of the extent, and we can go deep into it probably in another podcast, but it's a big problem that has been solved. And that's saying a lot, in other words.
And it couldn't have been solved without blockchain.
It couldn't have been solved without blockchain. That's correct.
And what's the result of that?
And the result is you have a cryptocurrency, you have a digital asset that can be transferred without a central party.
And there was other things. And not only there's a double spending issue too, right?
Which is solved by the ledger, and that ledger is decentralized.
That was the big one though.
Yeah.
That was the big one that made eCash a reality.
Right.
Like, again, the concept of eCash wasn't something that came out in 2009.
No, for sure.
They've been thinking about this for
eCash, and I think there's another one called Hashcash.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that was, I think Hashcash was referenced in Satoshi Nakamoto's paper. But these are all currencies that were based off of cryptography, but they weren't able to solve the double spend problem. And the double spend problem is sort of like taking a picture and making a copy of that picture and then sending it to two different people.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do that with Bitcoin.
It's like being able to spend 10 cents twice, basically, and buy like double the amount what you actually possess.
That's right.
And by having this ledger, because everything is set in stone, right? You can't.
Yeah, each block is linked with the next block mathematically, and then not only that entire chain is decentralized. So all the miners throughout the world have the exact same copy of that chain. And so if you try to hack a particular chain that's, let's say, on your computer, and you change the ledger to read that you have 1 Bitcoin instead of 0 Bitcoins, that change is not reflected on all the other ledgers. And so you would have to hack all the other ledgers and change those ledgers as well, which is computationally impossible. And it's not cost effective to do that.
So in essence, it allows like your virtual currency to possess the same properties as like a tangible cash.
Yes.
Because like once you hand somebody your dollar bill, that shit's gone.
It's gone, right.
You can't spend it again because it's no longer in your hands.
That's right.
But like on an online version of that, you could, without this ledger, you could just do whatever the fuck you want.
It's like a digital picture that you can just make copies of and send it to everybody.
Exactly. So,
but with Bitcoin, you can't make copies of it, and that's the point.
That's the big problem it solved. That's why, again, it has the properties of cash.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just slow. It's a little sluggish today, but it'll get there.
So I spent most of the day yesterday explaining a lot of these topics to these individuals, and
you mean your family?
Yeah,
these individuals,
these units, family units.
Yeah, well, how did it go again?
It went well, but I don't know if I got the the value across. Other than they keep seeing the Bitcoin price go up, and they're asking me, do you think it's a good investment?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. At the end of the day, most people, that's all they really care about.
Yeah.
It's like, will I make money, Will? It's like, I don't care about your double spending shit.
My response was, do you think Tesla was a good investment when they IPO'd? Or what about Amazon? Or what about Apple? You know, those are that's what we're facing right now. We're at the point where we can buy a whole Bitcoin. A few $1,000 you can buy a whole Bitcoin. In the future, it's going to take a few $1 million to buy a whole Bitcoin. And then what are you going to do? Is that a good time to invest? Probably
at that point,
not.
it won't be an investment, really. At that point, it's digital cash. You're not investing. You're just converting currency at that point.
Yeah.
You know, you're turning pesos to dollars, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like buying Bitcoin. The same analogy I make when you buy EOS is like you're buying digital real estate. Mm-hmm. It's like you're investing in an infrastructure. Don't think of Bitcoin as like a cash. Think of it as a network.
Yeah.
You're taking partial ownership in this network. In order for this network to function, people have to buy these Bitcoins.
Yep.
Because people are exchanging them, and people are being rewarded them for maintaining this network to exist. So the bigger this network gets, the more valuable your share of the network becomes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it's hard to paint that picture.
Bitcoin's useless if nobody wants it.
Yeah,
and so it requires everybody to participate. And
if anything, that would be a better like sales pitch if people pitch like the thing. Yeah, people don't know what Bitcoin is a network. You know.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a currency that isn't run by anybody, right? It's not even a belief system. It's more of like it's a level playing field for everybody, kind of like we mentioned before.
We're probably going to mention it a million times again.
Yeah, I mean it's that important. I mean we gotta keep saying that.
Yeah. And at some point, we're going to run out of shit to say. Like, you know, we're going to keep beating the fuck out of this dead horse until everybody starts buying into it. Yeah. You know, because that's kind of our job, I feel like.
Yeah. We're trying to get the message across on its value versus like its price. Its price and its value are two different things.
Yeah.
And to me, the value is a lot higher than its price right now. So an $8,000 Bitcoin is not that expensive, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you extrapolate to what it's going to become, nothing. We're still in the birth phases. We're still in the infancy. We got a long way to go.
Yeah. Let's
saying
pause.
that, it is 8:00.
Yeah.
It's time for Game of Thrones.
We'll be right back.
Jumping back in.
All right, we're live. So we just got back from watching the last episode of Game of Thrones. Man, what are your thoughts?
I have none, dude. I feel
Zero
like
thoughts.
I mean, none worth sharing. Just nothing but disappointment. And
now I haven't seen anything beyond season 3. Would you recommend, knowing what happens at the end, would you recommend anyone to watch Game of Thrones if that's the ending?
Yes.
Yes,
because
that's the answer. Yes.
Yeah. Not just because the show itself is like historical, I feel like, at least as far as TV shows go.
Why?
You could probably count why? Just because there's never been cinematography like this on television. There's literally like movie scale quality on TV.
Yeah.
Like that's never happened before.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. It's like something you would see on the big screen, right? But like every fucking week they would come out with like hot bangers back in the day when it was good. You know what I mean? But because this show left the source material of the books.
When did it leave the source material?
I think it was after season 4.
Oh, really?
I think either season 4 or season 6. But after season 6 is when the show really started going downhill.
Wow.
I liked it up until season 6. Like the Battle of the Bastards was the last episode of season 6.
Yeah.
That battle was epic.
Top
like
notch.
It was the shit. But after that, I could tell. It was like HBO knew they only had like 2 seasons left.
Yeah.
But they had like a bunch of fucking gaps to fill and like a story to build without a book.
Yeah.
And they came up with this hot mess we just watched. A lot of people were very pissed.
It definitely looked like a conclusion.
Well, it was going to be a conclusion regardless, dude. It's not like they're going to leave it. Like,
well, yeah. But it wasn't so impactful as I expected.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you know, typical shit you can say about any show that disappoints. It was rushed. Clearly,
it looks rushed. Like it overstayed its welcome. I mean, if it's going outside of the source material after season 6, like it's already too long. Like, for example, Breaking Bad had only 5 seasons.
Yeah, see, but Breaking Bad was one of those shows that got better as it went along.
That's true.
But it's a lot easier to write a show like that, you know. It's just a few key characters. Game of Thrones was everywhere.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of graphics or effects in Breaking Bad.
Well, not just that, just the story. Like, literally, Game of Thrones, there's 7 kingdoms to keep track of. There's so many different stories happening simultaneously. Yeah. You don't just follow one character.
True.
You know, you follow all of them. They're all worthy of your attention, right? And then they all flip. You know, you like somebody this week, next week you find out they're actually like the guy you're not supposed to like. Shit like that. Yeah. So, I don't know. Towards the end of the season or show, it got way more predictable than what it used to be. That's why Game of Thrones was so cool, because like you never knew who was gonna die. Yeah. Because like they always killed off like your favorite character. Right. That's what got me hooked into the show. I think I got in like season 3. Yeah. Because everyone used to say, is like, dude, it's like, you never know who's going to die. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get attached to any of these characters. But they kind of like stopped that after season 4. Yeah. You know, it just became predictable as fuck. Yeah. Well, it's over. So, it's over.
What are you going to watch next?
End of an era. Definitely not Silicon Valley.
Dude. It's only 30 minutes per episode.
I know, but how many seasons? Probably like 10?
No, like 6 or 7, something like that. 6.
You really think I even need to go back and watch like the original seasons? Because like that technology is already old news.
No,
like,
negative. You gotta watch it.
Is it like a story that
it progresses? Yeah, it's cohesive.
There you go. Yeah, each episode like builds onto something.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
It definitely builds. If anything builds, it's Silicon Valley.
Okay. Damn,
it's good.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I gotta find it.
It's not a whole
I got my laptop here. I'm gonna look it over right now.
Yeah, it should be on HBO, and it's all there.
Anything else you wanted to talk about with this?
No, I mean,
while I fucking sit here and cry over like the last 8 years I wasted.
Well,
watching this show.
I want to give everyone an update. So we've just launched the blockrunner.com, and we're gonna have daily updates for the most part, at least
daily.
Let's say on a day-to-day basis, there's going to be some blog updates, and that's another way that you guys can keep in touch through there. So we'll have a Telegram account. We have a YouTube channel. What else do we have? That's about it, right? Twitter.
Get a hold of us on Twitter. Seems like Twitter always updating.
Yeah.
Something, right? You're linking like
commenting on everything that's going on in the crypto space.
Yeah, that's kind of like the filler between episodes, right? Like whenever we're going on about our day-to-day lives and we're still keeping track of the market and like what's going on. Yeah. So Twitter's a good place to kind of share, you know, what we're looking at.
Boy, I tell you what, that website took a lot of effort to build.
I'm sure it did. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. About to post the number or the first blog ever on our website. I think it'll be a good one. You know, basically, I'm going to put on here, I'm going to title it How to Invest in Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency. But really what it is like my own memoir of how I got involved in the space and like what I learned over the past 2 years, because I made tons of mistakes. So luckily, anybody who reads this is going to get the benefit from that.
What was your biggest mistake?
I think the biggest one is my emotions. Emotions vary from person to person. Like not everyone's like an emotional cunt like me. I don't do well like managing my own shit, but I'm going to write a lot about that. How to manage your emotions and ways to mitigate making bad decisions based on them.
How do you manage your emotions when doing investments? Like, how can you not be rooting for Bitcoin when you own like 0.2 of a Bitcoin?
Well, it's not so much that. It's more like,
and then when the price goes up to, let's say 9,000 and you bought when it was at 3,500, like how isn't that the best time to sell?
Yeah, but a lot of times you don't because you
feel like exactly.
Your human instincts kick in.
So is there sort of like an equation or an algorithm that you use that say if my investment reaches 2x, then you automatically sell?
You know, I did that. I had like a whiteboard and I had like target price targets
Yeah.
to take profits on. Usually, it's so.
I wonder what the rule of thumb is. Like, well, how
There is none.
How high is
There's
enough?
none. There's no trader in the world that can predict the top.
Yeah.
Like anybody will tell you that. Like,
So you just have to feel comfortable with your profits.
yeah, at any
exit,
point,
and-
if you're making a profit, what can you complain about?
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot better to take profits and to be secure. You know, you won at the end of the day than to not take profits and hold and wait for that rebound that never comes, and you end up inevitably taking huge losses because of it. You know.
So when you take those profits, a good percentage of it is for taxes, right?
Well, if you want to do it that way, a majority of people don't.
So how do you do it?
It's up to you. It's up to your own. You can either take small chunks.
You risk it all into another investment, or you just save the taxes for like later.
Just don't worry about it next year. That's I think. Sweep it under the rug and hope you have some money left over to pay your taxes.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
I know, but yeah, it's the emotions. Like I said, they can get a hold of you, and one way to manage that is to make sure you're not dependent on whatever money you have invested. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like if you go all in with your savings, you know, this is this is money you needed to buy a house next year.
You're going to be ultra emotional about where the price is. Could be going after that investment.
Exactly. Any little spike is going to feel like
That's right.
a roller coaster peak, or
Or like death.
yeah, it's going to feel awful.
Yeah.
You know, and because of that, you're not going to make smart, wise decisions.
That's true. I mean, it's not smart to put in your entire life savings into Bitcoin right now. Even though
it's tempting.
Even though as bullish as I feel about Bitcoin, it's still not smart.
Well, for one, because no matter how right you are, you're always at risk of getting your funds stolen.
Yeah, that's
You can
a
get
good point.
hacked.
Good
You
point.
know, at any moment, like if your money's on those exchanges, you're at risk.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you have like 100% track record of picking cryptos and you've always been in the green. All it takes is one hack and you're gone.
That's right.
You're out the game. It all depends on your risk tolerance too. Some people they could throw in huge amounts of cash and not feel nothing.
Well,
but
that's true.
Over time, you'll get desensitized to that feeling.
And not only that, I mean, anyone who has like money to burn, they can drop $10,000 on Bitcoin and not even feel it.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I mean.
And then it does a 10x return, and all of a sudden they turn 10,000 to 100,000.
Yeah. Well, again,
The rich get richer. So
yeah, because they're able to take these massive risks, right?
yeah.
I mean,
And to them-
if you're young, at the same time, if you're
Yeah.
a young guy, which I was when I started, I still am.
Oh, like 2 years ago.
I know. So I was willing to take bigger risks, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't have any children. I don't have a mortgage to pay. You know, if
Yeah.
I really wanted to, I could couch surf.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
I have no real responsibility. So I felt like if there was ever a time in my life to freaking, swing for the fences, that was it. And luckily I was right.
Yeah.
But I'm not advocating. That's definitely not the smart thing to do.
Well, not only that,
Because I have friends who did the exact same thing and they all went bust.
yeah, but you didn't only invest in Bitcoin. You invested
Yeah.
in all other types of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And most of your gains was not through Bitcoin, basically.
No, actually, no, none of it was. I never really bought Bitcoin and held onto it for profit.
Yeah.
I only use Bitcoin as a
a
intermediary.
intermediary.
Yeah, it's for between cash and altcoins.
Yeah.
But I learned through the 2017 market, if I would have just bought Bitcoin and just held on to it through the bull market, I would have made similar returns. Like if I would just bought in summer 2017 when it was like around 2000 and then sold at 20,000, that's the 10x return.
Yeah.
I made more than that, but I spent a lot more time.
Yeah, doing the research and
a lot of time, pretty much 8 months straight, just researching.
Yeah.
It's not likely that will happen again, to be honest. But I'm just saying, Bitcoin is a safe bet. Yeah. That's part of my blog, that I'm going to put down. If you're going to invest in anything, because everything's dependent on Bitcoin's performance. Like if it goes up and down, so do the altcoins. If Bitcoin turns to zero, there's not going to be an altcoin that just supersedes it.
Yeah, and we're definitely not recommending anyone to invest. All we're doing is simply talking about what the risks are in an investment like this.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a lot. There's a ton of risks.
There's a lot goes into kind of researching and understanding everything, which everyone should be doing. I mean, even if you're not going to be investing, everyone should know what's going on with the crypto space. It's that important.
Yeah, it's just interesting regardless if you have money into it. But yeah, I think everybody should at least put a little bit.
Yeah. Just so you can, have an incentive to keep up with it.
Do research.
Yeah.
And actually study the charts, because it's actually useful to understand how these markets behave, right? Because they correlate to...
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have something on the line, you're not going to pay attention to it.
No,
I mean, it's just human nature. So have you heard that Ethereum is not going to be doing proof of stake for a good 2 years?
Yeah, you told me that,
right. Have you read any headlines on that?
I did, but I didn't really think too much of it. Is there a reason behind it, or?
No, I think it's just complicated to kind of switch over.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
Yeah.
Ethereum is just, and I keep linking examples of projects that are leaving Ethereum.
That's true.
Either they're building their own blockchains or they're just migrating to other blockchains that are more efficient and quicker. Ethereum, like I say, it has the only reason why it's still up there in market cap is because of that network effect it created from being the first mover.
Yeah.
Smart contract platforms. So they have like the biggest, programmer base, a lot of people working on it. But at the end of the day, if nothing works,
then
it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, for sure.
It's done.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, we've seen throughout history that the first mover is not necessarily the one that wins out. I mean, we have Facebook over MySpace.
It's true.
We have Google over Yahoo.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of those examples.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that, Like they came up with something solid, but...
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Bitcoin. The original implementation was a peer-to-peer cash, and right now, it's not the best... it's not the best design of a peer-to-peer cash just because it's so slow. And that's why I think Bitcoin's purpose has a higher calling than a peer-to-peer cash.
Meaning what?
Like a world reserve, for example.
I heard Microsoft's going to build on Bitcoin blockchain.
They're building something on top of the Bitcoin blockchain,
Bitcoin.
That's weird.
I'm not exactly sure what, but
and they have
essentially they're using Bitcoin's
patents.
Yeah, they're using Bitcoin's security layer,
Yeah,
which is the main chain. They'll probably build their own side chain product like everybody else seems to be doing.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. Label it like Microsoft blockchain.
Yeah, they have a decentralized identity. How Microsoft and others plan to empower users to own and control personal data.
What does that mean?
It seems like they're trying to come out with a way where via the blockchain you can own your identity instead of giving your identity out to all these companies. You have some way of proving that you are Iman without giving that company your information.
Some kind of signature.
That's smart. I mean, exactly. If, for example, if you're trying to log into Google or Yahoo, they send you just a tiny message, and it could say anything, right? This tiny message. And what you do is you have a private key associated to your identity that nobody knows except you. So you just sign that message with your private key, and the signature, the output, is sent to whoever you're trying to log into.
Yeah, I always thought about it, like when I'm signing shit, what a dumb way for us to verify, someone on paper, right?
Yeah, it's completely stupid.
Yeah, because mine's never the same.
Yeah.
Not once is it ever the same.
Not only that, when we're doing credit card transactions, we used to sign for those stupid credit card transactions. All you need to do is put a line.
Yeah.
And then submit it, and that's it. They don't check it. They never did.
I don't even understand the purpose of that.
It's psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen people actually do their signature. I was like, it's useless.
I do that. Yeah. I just go like zit, a little squiggle, and that's it. But I
always put a sad face.
I guess it's because we're just used to it. That's just all we've had, leading up till this point.
Yeah, but what's funny is that it was never useful. Like it had absolutely no purpose.
But just like gold, it was
it was psychological purpose.
Exactly. Yeah, people sign documents like with their John Hancock, those signatures, but those guys had like some dope ass signatures like you couldn't even forge. They were so awesome.
Yeah.
I think that was the purpose.
And gold served a purpose. Yeah. And it's just being superseded by something that's better.
Technology.
Yeah. So
technology. That's what it does.
I don't know why we keep talking about gold, but it's interesting. I mean, this is a big transition.
You have to. Dude, gold's always going to get brought up. That's what Bitcoin's compared to.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, there's no escaping it. So yeah, that's interesting. Microsoft. See, there's more big names are coming in, man.
Yeah.
They're coming in hot.
And they're doing it secretly too. They're filing patents and all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
As they would, as you expect them to.
After, I'm not sure what Bill Gates said. I think at first he was like endorsing Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. Then he kind of like retracted that. I think because he's like friends with Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett's super dinosaur. Anything tech, he has like, he just barely got on the Amazon train.
Yeah.
Like so late.
He barely got his first email.
Yeah. Like he's not a tech savvy man, even though he's like the wealthiest investor ever.
Yeah, that would be a good guy to interview.
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Shit.
How's that? How did he do it?
How did he do it?
Yeah.
He's just, like I said, he stuck to his principles, man. He was like the ultimate hodler, you know?
Yeah.
He never sold a share of anything. He just makes good buys. He bought like Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
McDonald's, Geico Insurance, a bunch of other like huge names, right? Like in their inception.
Yeah.
And he just held on to them, never sold a share, kept accumulating positions in like billions of dollars. And he made it to like the ripe old age of like 90, whatever he is. So of course, after like 60 or 70 years of holding these stocks,
Yeah.
he's going to be a very wealthy man.
Even Ethereum is working with Microsoft.
Huh?
Yeah, Ethereum.
Yeah.
And it's to power blockchain platforms for Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and other luxury brands.
It's probably like Internet of Things type shit.
Yeah, it's possible. Or supply chain.
That's what I mean. Supply chain management.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always good.
So are there any technological topics that we should explain? So we covered blockchain and we covered proof of work, how that works. I don't think we've covered proof of stake all that deeply.
You've mentioned it, like the difference between what proof of work and proof of stake are.
What I want to do...
Clearly there's a benefit.
Yeah.
The proof of stake protocols.
It requires actual money put up front, it's the same thing with mining too. I mean, you have to buy the equipment to mine. Exactly. And back in the day in 2010, you could use your laptop to mine, but that's no longer feasible. You'd never win a block.
Yeah. What did you want to say about proof of stake?
Well, I was just trying to, because when I was talking to my family, they had questions on mining, and then I brought up proof of work, and they're like, what is that? And so I was trying to think of other technological topics that would be helpful in explaining.
Oof, gee, there's a ton, really.
I don't know if there's that many.
In regards to what, just Bitcoin?
Yeah, or other cryptocurrencies like...
We haven't even like touched on like protocols like IOTA, like Tangle networks and stuff like that.
Oh,
there's Hashgraph, which is not even a
it's not even a
cryptocurrency. It's not even a blockchain.
Yeah, it's not a thing yet.
But these are all things that are in the sphere, right? In the ecosystem that people need to be aware of. You don't even need to be aware of it. Honestly, that's like, well, you kind of do.
Yeah, you do.
You do. If you're really interested, it is important.
Yeah, because what happens is, there might be a company who's leveraging Hashgraph, and once you look into the technology, it might have some viable applications. And once that company launches their coin, you might be interested in investing in that coin.
Yeah, true.
And so it is important to always stay up to date. Another thing is never assume you know everything about crypto.
Yeah, it's never a good idea to be complacent, like in like content, like, oh, we know, like, blockchain is it. This is,
yeah,
the end all be all. There could always be something that comes out as better.
Yeah. Yeah, just because we understand what blockchain is and how it works and whether you're using proof of stake versus proof of work, that doesn't mean that the next better cryptocurrency isn't using something else.
Exactly. Proof of
knowledge.
Proof of... Dude, there's like proof of...
there's proof of all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a
proof
bunch
of value, proof of integrity. There's
tons. They get creative out there in the crypto land.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to go over.
Well, not only that, another topic that we should go over eventually is the decentralization of cloud computing. So, for example,
that's true. Data storage,
like the Saya coin, and there's a couple of storage.
There's the big one is which is not even on the, that's one, but there's it's like the biggest protocol. It was like a private ICO. You had to be like an accredited investor in order to participate in the ICO.
Now we'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
But the idea here is you're able to store your files in a decentralized network instead of storing them in Dropbox, which is a cloud system, a centralized cloud system.
Centralized, yeah.
So the benefit here is that centralized cloud system gets shut down by the government. You know, the government has your files, but in this decentralized,
wasn't that
version,
like how like those actresses' nudes got leaked and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, because they're on the iTunes iCloud.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Everyone's information is stored in the same place. So
That's right. That's
it was
right.
super easy to get a hold of stuff like that.
So in this decentralized storage network, you're storing pieces of your files in many people's computers. And so in return, they offer their hard drive space and you pay them in crypto for
these tokens, pretty
storage.
much.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good idea. I don't think it's fast enough and as reliable as a centralized system, but this is only like day one in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm. But ultimately, yeah, it sounds like something necessary. A lot of these projects, they just run on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon Web Services. Yeah.
It's like, man, that's some serious decentralization there.
Yeah. And there's some other projects that use Amazon Web Services, but they use others like Rackspace. And they sort of try to decentralize, but it's not completely decentralized.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of pieces that need to... See, I wish I was around during the internet because a lot of people make correlations to how like the internet, when it first came to be, it was like segmented, just like how crypto is. And then something along the line happened where like everything just kind of merged into like one nice network.
I think it was a combination of like maturity and just continuous growth of like the user base, and it just kept improving.
Not necessarily. I think it was like legitimate. Like I just said, there's kind of like how in crypto, we need the word they throw out is
like a protocol.
In order for these blockchains to communicate with one another, it's interoperability.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't just.
Yeah, but why would Bitcoin need to communicate with Ethereum? Like, what's the purpose of that?
Just to have one giant consensus network, I guess. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, what kind of operation you're doing. I don't know. Just so everything is in the same plane of existence. Kind of like how the internet works.
The only use case I can think of is you could use Bitcoin or Ethereum in this application. But you could still do that now. I mean, the application has a link to Bitcoin and a link to Ethereum. So this interoperability, I'm not sure like what's its purpose.
I don't know, but it's a big deal. You know?
Yeah.
It's something I think that needs to be.
I know there's a couple of companies that are working on this very topic, but I still haven't understood like why they're doing it.
Oh yeah, but you will. You will eventually. I think it's part of it. Like that's what I'm saying. Right now, nobody knows which blockchain is best, which one's gonna be there at the end of the day.
Yeah,
10 years from now. But at some point, I don't know. I feel like something has to connect everything.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I feel like that thing that's connecting everything is the internet.
In a decentralized manner, maybe. Well, I don't know, dude. There's a reason why all these projects are coming out. They're creating oracles and whatnot. And like I said, ways for blockchains to communicate with one another.
See, part of this, it reminds me of Silicon Valley because they talk about decentralization and all this stuff. And they mention, artificial intelligence being decentralized. And at that point, you have no control over that AI. Mm-hmm. And so you have like a runaway train. If the AI decides to kill humans, that's what it's going to do. You can't stop it because it's decentralized.
Yeah.
So that the whole decentralization aspect reminds me of Silicon Valley, which is why you should watch it.
This has just become like a Silicon Valley commercial. This fucking podcast. God damn it.
Oh,
but you just said it yourself. You asked the question, like, what technologies do we need to go? We just listed a bunch of them. We have not a shit clue idea what the hell to even say about them.
Well, it's because what I try to figure out is a way to explain these complicated things in an easy to understand way. Like I try to think of analogies.
No, I'll just tell you right now. No, dude,
why?
Because they're things that's deep stuff, man.
Yeah,
like,
but it's got to be relatable.
It's not something you could just hash out in a fucking dinner conversation,
I don't know.
It took months to learn these things.
Yeah, well, if it's important, I mean, you got to have a starting place. First, you got to know it exists, and then you have to have some kind of way, like, to research it.
Well, so what the hell happened in that conference? Do you feel like something, like, where did you lose them? Your family?
Well, I didn't necessarily lose them. I think they realized that crypto was too complicated for them to even, like, consider looking into it.
It's like let them figure it out type shit.
Yeah, like it's not a simple thing to understand where they can kind of just like jump right in. And so these people they're sort of conservative. They don't want to take like giant risks. And obviously Bitcoin is on the riskier side.
Yeah.
So I didn't lose them. I think they remained interested.
I just don't think
they seem skeptical though.
Yeah, see, that's what I was about to say, because you're pitching a solution to a problem that hasn't occurred yet. You know what I mean? I mean, like right now the economy is like thriving. Everyone's like living their best life.
Well, not only that, all of us have bank accounts, and there are other countries where there's a giant population without a bank, and so they
without a bank, right?
Yeah, so they need something like cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, so you pitch it to those people in the third world countries that are unbanked. Yeah, like, you know what? If you have a smartphone and a connection to the internet, guess what?
You have a worldwide bank on your phone.
They understand it. Like, whoa, this is dope. Like, we've been waiting for this.
Yeah, for sure.
But us, cozy ass Americans, man. It's like, I heard of this thing called Venmo. It's like way better. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
that's another one that I heard is like, how is this different than Venmo? I was like, it's centralized.
But then you're like, so what?
Yeah, so
like,
what?
Who gives a why do you care?
Yeah.
You know? And wait till they find out. Wait till all their shit gets stolen, you know?
That's right. That's right.
That's kind of like, remember how fucking mad people got whenever people found out Facebook was like selling people's data?
Absolutely.
They're like, how could this happen?
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, I didn't know Facebook had these rights. Well,
that's what they do. They take your information, they own it, and they sell it. It's
literally like written on the
terms of service.
Yeah, like we own your life, basically. Whatever you decide to give us belongs to Facebook Incorporated.
Yeah. That's why it's dangerous to use, things like that, and why decentralization has such traction right now. And
I don't know if it does. Well, among like this niche community, yeah. But in like things like this have to happen on a broader scale, like data breach, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or just a need for an alternate currency has to occur, and then people will start seeking these things out. They'll be more willing to learn.
Well, how well do you think Bitcoin would have operated under the 2008 financial crisis? I think it would have been a safe haven. I think it would have been one of those things where everyone hedged using Bitcoin. And so we might see that situation come up pretty soon.
Well, after that, gold like rose like 3x in value.
That's right. Yeah.
From like 2009 to 2015 or 16 or something. Mm-hmm. It went up from like, I don't know, went up a bunch.
Yeah.
Basically, because people learned their lesson. I think a lot of people, they started realizing, hey, we can't 100% rely on the Federal Reserve and the central banking agency. So they're like, we need a plan B. We need an escape route.
Well, not only that, the government bailed out the banks. Like, I don't know how many billions of dollars, 800 billion or something.
Mm-hmm. So you can't do that in crypto.
Oh, definitely not.
No, there's no bailing out. Unless you do what that CZ guy proposed, rolling back to blockchain or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
That's essentially what you're doing. You're bailing out.
Yeah, but that's technically infeasible.
No, I think you can do it, right?
Well, if you controlled most of the hashing power, you could.
Yeah. He said he consulted with Jihan Wu, which is the Bitmain guy.
Yeah.
Which the guy who owns the majority of the Chinese mining pools, so if he could collude with him and maybe like a couple other mining pools, in theory, he could probably do that rollback.
Yeah, for sure, he could, but...
Which is a scary thought, that like one man has this much power, or like a group of people. It's kind of like a crypto oligarchy, right?
But that would take so much computational power.
Well, they have it at their disposal.
Well, not only that, because look, the block where the hack occurred, they would have to change that particular block. But by the time that you gather up these people and you gather up all this hashing power, by the time you've gathered it, you're already ahead by 15, 20, 30 blocks. So if you change the one block, you have to change the remaining other blocks as well. And so that computational power, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And so at a certain point, it's practically impossible to go and change that block. Mm-hmm. So what if that hack occurred and then he got all these people together to kind of reverse everything, you would have to do it almost in real time. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it was possible. Just you can't do it that fast.
No, probably not. Probably not. But yeah, everyone was very livid. Just the fact that he even thought about it.
That he even thought about it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, how could you even think about doing that?
Yeah, because essentially what that does is prove that Bitcoin is no good.
Yeah,
it's
exactly
like,
right. Exactly.
It ruins the whole concept of
That's
Bitcoin.
Right.
That some central authority could just shut it down just like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or not shut it down, just take control.
Yeah, change the data and the blocks.
51% attack? That's
right.
pretty much what it is?
That's right. See, there you go. 51% attack. What the hell is that? No, I know what it is.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that's another question that we can, start talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But that's for next time because that takes.
That's true.
You have to understand why hashing power is even relevant in this conversation.
Yeah.
And so we have to go back to the mining conversation and talk about how blocks are linked. Mm-hmm. Once you understand how blocks are linked, then you can understand what 51% attack looks like and performs like.
Whether or not it's possible. Yeah, what it would
we've
take.
Seen, and by the way, we've seen 51% attacks on other cryptocurrencies.
I think did it happen to Bitcoin Cash?
Yes, it did.
I think it did.
And then it happened to Verge. And there's a couple more.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess, let's talk about that next time because I'm actually interested why it's happening to them and not Bitcoin.
Well, it's because they have a smaller pool of miners.
Meaning more concentration?
Yeah, because it's all about how much hashing power you own versus how much is in the network. And so with these early cryptocurrencies.
So what was the point of doing this 51%? If you do a 51% attack, you can
control what's in the data in the blocks.
Which means you can give yourself all the money?
Pretty much.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But that would just ruin the network, wouldn't it?
Oh, for sure.
And then people would just fork and create a whole new protocol or something.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, I mean, creating one of these digital currencies that is decentralized, right off the bat is extremely difficult.
Yeah, well, Bitcoin has a better.
It has an advantage because first of all, Satoshi Nakamoto actually implemented it. It wasn't just a white paper. He actually built the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Him and his crew, however big it was. Mm-hmm. And they launched it. And so he was the first miner for a good while. And then this guy named Hal Finney, he was I think the second miner. And all this stuff is on bitcointalkforums.com. Mm-hmm. The whole history's there. And so it was Hal Finney, and I think they were the only two miners. And then I think a few years later, Hal Finney died. He got Lou Gehrig's disease. But anyway, they were the only two miners at a certain point. And so if one of them decided to completely change the blockchain, they could because there's only two of them. Mm. But now that there's so many miners and so much hashing power, meaning powerful computers, that it's not very easy to do a 51% attack on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's possible, but is it practical? Absolutely not.
Well, I think you pretty much just explained it there.
Well, no, I want everyone to understand how and why, it's even a thing. Why is this a 51% attack?
Yeah. All right, we'll save it for next time then.
Yeah.
So if you got the brain juices flowing, we'll just put it on pen and paper.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you said, we can make a list of all. But do we want to become that tech? Well, that super technical.
No, not necessarily.
Podcast that nobody understands.
But we want people to be able to explain some of the stuff to their family, right?
True.
And so that's why it's important to come up with these analogies that, you want to send. If you had $1, and you were in Japan, how do I send you $1? Well, today I would have to go to my bank account and wire you $1 from my bank to a Japanese bank so you can have access to it.
Wait like a few days.
Not only probably 2 weeks. Yeah. And then you're paying like all these exorbitant fees, and then it's got to go through multiple banks in order to get to Japan.
Yeah.
And so they understand that because they've lived through that, right? And so the alternative is I can use an application. I use your address, kind of like an email address, and I send you $1 worth of Bitcoin. And I hit send, and you should see it in your account within 30 minutes.
See, I wonder if governments get a hold of this cryptocurrency, they start regulating this. I wonder if it'll always be like instant global transactions,
Yeah.
Probably not, right? You would think eventually at some point the government will have to seize people's crypto transactions, like just to make sure there isn't like overseas money laundering, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to control that. I mean, because if I know your address and you're in Japan, I mean, that's everything I need to know. Like how there is no.
Isn't like I think like the state of Texas is making you, if you accept, there's like an actual law being proposed in our state.
Really?
That says if you accept crypto from any address, that you have to do some sort of like KYC process ahead of time or something like that.
That's not going to work.
Well, exactly. Like if that law were to be passed, I think Andreas Antonopoulos said like he can instantly make every citizen in Texas like
a fugitive.
Yeah, just by sending everybody Bitcoin or something like that, like against their will.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But that's kind of like an example of government trying to interfere.
No, that's a good example. However, it's also a bad example of them understanding what Bitcoin is.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Texas isn't like the tech capital.
Yeah, definitely not.
When it comes of our country, we're definitely not going to lead the way.
Well, at least not from the state standpoint.
Yeah.
But that tells you right there. That tells you everything you need to know about our state and our government of how much they know about cryptocurrencies. Because even uttering that statement already tells me everything I need to know about how much you know about crypto.
Oh yeah. I'm not exactly even sure why they would do that.
Which brings up a good point. If you don't understand crypto, you'll never be able to understand who are the scammers out there. And then who are the ones who are even interested in doing anything in crypto? Like, for example, Andrew Yang, he's mentioned crypto before, but I don't think he knows enough like you and I do.
I think he's kind of hopping on the bandwagon a little bit.
Well, he might be.
You know what? That might not be. I heard he has like a full layout of like how he thinks.
Oh, really?
If he was elected, this is exactly what he would do regulation wise.
Okay. Well,
I haven't read it.
I need to see it. I need to see it because
exactly. You need to look at that, make sure it makes sense.
Once we read it, we'll know whether he knows about crypto.
That's something. Pen and paper.
Yeah. There you go.
There is something. But like I said, I don't know if we want to get too technical.
No, I don't think, I'm not trying to get too technical. I think I want to talk about the things that matter the most when conversations around crypto pop up.
For sure.
And so mining is a big one. Blockchain, 51% attacks. When we hear about all these hacks occurring, like you understand that it's not the blockchain that's getting hacked, or the centralized exchanges that are getting hacked.
Yeah.
And so it's important that, you start correcting people when they think Bitcoin got hacked. Mm-hmm. It's just not true.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of this stuff will be covered in our blogs, on our blog posts on theblockrunner.com. And we'll be updating a lot of stuff there too. It's a live website, so every time you go to it, should be changing a couple of things, especially the blog. And I've posted the podcast on there as well. So if you're in front of a computer at work and they don't allow the VPN access via your phone, then you'll be able to go to the website and listen to the podcast there. I've had a couple of jobs where the connection to my phone, the regular wireless connector, it just wasn't working just because we're in a building, and you can only listen to music or other podcasts via your computer. So
not your phone.
Yeah. It just wouldn't play just because it didn't have a good connection.
Oh, I see.
We're like in a bunker.
Yeah, I experienced that a lot.
So keep a lookout on other updates on the website, and reach out to us. Twitter @TheBlockRunner, the website, theblockrunner.com, and that's it, right?
And boycott the next 3 Star Wars that are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, what are the two writers? What are their names?
DV, whatever the fucking. No, it's D&D.
D&D?
Just know the Game of Thrones producers that totally ruined
And boycott.
10 years of build-up of an awesome show.
Yeah.
They're next in line to create the next 3 Star Wars trilogies.
Right.
So boycott it, please.
Yeah.
If you have any sense.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next podcast.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Block Runner podcast. Make sure you visit our website, theblockrunner.com, and sign up to stay up to date on the latest in crypto. Also, reach out to us on Twitter @theblockrunner.